Hello, and welcome back to Dragonborn Industries and our show, Two Guys.
One cup.
Ah, there it is, the one cup that we never really pay homage to at all, but this is going to be doing the majority of our...
9 times out of 10 I'm using these.
Yeah, they're there for pure tones, really. Hey, welcome back to our shitty little paint show, where we talk about 40k lore while we paint up some 40k minis. We've got some hay fever wipes.
Which I just rubbed my eyes with and I'm not sure what to make of them.
They sting a little bit first, don't they? And then they are...
You just made it worse, but it'll pass.
No, it does get better, I promise. Everything gets better. I've got a confession to make. My Bluetooth speaker broke, and that means that I'm having to play music through my phone. And if it sounds awful, let me know. If it needs to go up in volume and you can't hear it, let me know. And if it needs to go down in volume, let me know. Because I ain't got a clue. However, we're back.
We are.
And
this is episode 5.
Episode 5.
It's a good milestone.
Yeah, I think that like when we first had this idea, how many years ago? And we never did anything about it. And now we're here, and it's like, you know what, 5 episodes feels good. I feel like at least we've achieved something.
Yeah.
And we've spoken like briefly about
glossing over 40k lore.
Yeah, and glossing over is definitely the word.
Yeah.
I mean, there is so much to delve into that we just can't. 2 hours isn't enough, but it's too much to go any further than that.
Yeah.
Because your brain will explode. Really.
Yeah.
Well, not yours, but mine will, and maybe some of yours will as well at home. But we're back for another 2 hours where we're going to paint up some minis. Alex is carrying on with your Tyranids.
Yeah, Tyranids.
And I'm going to be carrying on with my Tau. However, I'm going to be covering this, which is the Tau Gunship. Because this week we are going to be looking at weapons and technology within the 40k verse.
As requested by one of our viewers last week, Dan Track, I believe.
So, you can hear it, Fluffy Cat Poop, that's all about the music. Awesome. Is that a good level? Is it fine? Is it too quiet? Just let us know and I'll try and keep an eye on that in chat. Yo, Dan Track, what's up, what's up? Hi! We're covering some 40k tech this week, aren't we?
Yep, some weapons, some tanks, armour, bits and bobs. Yeah, a good glossing over. We're not going to be able to cover everything, but this is some of the iconic stuff.
Yeah, and I think what I asked for you to kind of get me was like some images on the meat and bones.
Which I did last night.
Yeah, because once again, our stream prep went to...
Shit.
They go pew-pew. That's right, Fluffy, they do go poo-poo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in all fairness, but actually it's more than we needed. So we're going to try a new thing with the images this week. The cup cam will disappear, and you hope there will flash up images so that we don't cover Alex's face this time, because let's face it, we need him to talk. And yeah, we're going to try and get through the meat and bones, I guess. The skeleton of like the weapons and armour and stuff for 40k.
Like I say, we're not going to be able to do everything because there is a fuck ton. But some of the sort of more recognisable things I'll try and talk about.
Yeah.
And hopefully that sounds cool and you want to look into it more.
Yeah, so if you've got any questions, as always, do ask away in chat. I'll try and keep an eye on the chat and I'll pose the questions to Alex. It's awesome that you guys interact with us each week. I absolutely adore that.
That's cool.
And we're going to get some painting. I'm going to start... Basically, I primed this up in a black. I then zenithalled it with a metallic blue and then a light blue with an airbrush. And then went round, did all the panels that I wanted to have orange in brown. That was oak brown from the army painter, and then I've used Tau light ochre for those other bits. And all I'm doing today is the line work, because that's what I need to do. So I need to go around with some Ungor flesh, which I'm going to be doing on all of those orange panels, and I'm going to be doing the Bakharoth blue on all of the blue panels.
So I just made a fucking mess of this. It's fine.
You're fired. You're off the show.
All over your new table.
It's fine. This is why the mats are down.
Yeah.
This is why the mats are down. And you guys will see the table. If you're on my socials, you can see it.
I kind of see the very edge of it there.
The very edge of the Great Wheel. And I'm pretty proud of it.
It's cool. It's cool as fuck.
I'm not an artist, like, in the slides, like Sarah and Tamsin really are, who are members of our group that you will meet in time. But, yeah, I'm really, really not, and I'm really proud of what I've done here. So, in time, we'll be streaming some TTRPG campaigns.
Yeah, man.
And you will get to see that. However, we are going to dive straight into some 40k tech and weaponry. We're going to start with, and I'm going to bring up an iconic image here, Alex, of a Space Marine, because hopefully you guys can see that. I'm going to try and make that a little bit smaller so that you guys can see it. Obviously, we look at 40k and we see Space Marines. This is an iconic image.
This is the poster boy.
Yeah, this is like, especially this one. This is like an ultramarine who is your like main sort of like toy that we see around the table.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the poster boy of the game really and the lore. So I guess what we'll look at is start telling us all about kind of like what's the tech in this picture, and I guess we'll start going through the Imperium.
So,
really.
what stands out the most is the Space Marine and his power armor, and then the next thing is the weapon that he's carrying, which is the iconic bolt gun or bolter. And I'll start with the bolter because it's pretty fucking cool. So,
and that's this image here, isn't it?
Yeah, that is your standard issue bolt gun. Wielded by Space Marines and the Sisters of Battle. And a bolt gun fires a projectile, which then becomes a self-propelled rocket. And when it comes into contact with its target, it reaches critical mass inside the flesh of said target and then detonates, causing mass cavitation. And that's your standard weapon.
So is that like an explosive round?
Yeah. So
And
it's
these
like
are-
it's the first ignition kicks the projectile out of the weapon itself. The second ignition propels the bullet even further. So it basically becomes an automatic RPG.
Okay, so in terms of like game damage, I don't know what that is, and I don't know if you do know what that is, but I'm assuming that's like going to be your standard. This is what you roll across
Yeah.
Space Marine armies, and most Space Marine armies and chapters have these as standard.
Yeah.
In lore, I guess what do these do to? Let's start with a base human.
So if a bolt gun was fired upon a base human, it would just be a fucking red mess. Like I say, the projectiles, they cause mass cavitation, so they will enter the body, detonate, and this will blow the body apart. And this weapon was designed for non-compliant humans during the fuck's it called? The after the Age of Strife.
Unification.
Unification Wars. Well done.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't do the full rap.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
But they are obviously a very effective and potent weapon.
So were these held by the Thunder Warriors?
Yes. So the Thunder Warriors had the sort of like the prototype of this weapon, which went on to be the iconic bolt gun. And these come in various different calibers, I guess. So you'll have like the bolter, the heavy bolter, the storm bolter, which is like more rapid firing, the twin-barreled storm bolter.
So basically, these are all. It's basically
Bolt
based
pistol,
on the
yeah.
bullet then, and then everything else around it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
something that fires that classification of bullet.
Yeah, so
I
you
mean,
can get
it's
bolt
pretty badass.
pistols, which can be wielded by baseline humans, but they're a very sort of like watered-down version. If a baseline human were to pick up one of these standard bolt guns and fire it, probably break every bone in the body because it kicks like a mule, and you have to be transhuman to use this effectively.
So you say transhuman there, and obviously, like we've spoken before about how like Space Marines are kind of mythical, and they're not your baseline humans. They're obviously genetically altered to be stronger, like the Thunder Warriors were.
Yeah.
So if you or I went and picked this weapon up, we're not as strong as a Space Marine. We're not as big. We're not as powerful.
If you can pick it up.
And they
begin
are
with.
that heavy.
Yeah, they probably weigh a hefty ton.
A ton.
Well, I don't know about a ton.
I think you're lying, sir. I reckon I could shoot that.
I mean,
I don't.
the bullets themselves are like little rockets, so you can actually buy them in a Games Workshop, like replicas on like a keyring. I don't think
Really?
they're to scale, but they look cool.
That's very cool. Well, yeah, because I imagine that obviously, like how tall is your standard Tanjac? It's already my favourite because it has yellow on it. Imperial fists, my friend.
Yep.
If I was going to go for a loyalist faction, that is who I would be going
Yeah,
for.
they're pretty cool.
One, because painting yellow is a son of a bitch. But I'm getting all right at it. And also, Alex has been telling me about their Primarch, Rogel Dawn,
Yes.
who is just hard as fuck.
He is your iron wall of a person.
Yeah, he's like the other War Master.
He's like
basically.
the unreadable, stoic. You don't quite know what he's thinking at any one time. Yeah, he's just like their whole chapter specializes in siegecraft and defense. So I think there's like a running joke. They're called the Stone Men in in the 40k verse because they are just stone. These Space Marines, just stoic as fuck. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, so then that's sort of like your classic bolt gun, and like, so how come then, if a Space Marine can wield one, how can the Sisters of Battle wield one if they're not a transhuman?
Because they wield power armor. They are given a very sort of watered down design of power armor.
That they don't need like integration into the suit. They can wield this as like a regular.
Yeah.
human.
So each, so we'll talk about the suits in a minute, but they have, it's basically like an exoskeleton.
Cool.
Works in that way.
Which allows them to pick it up, fire it, and basically be bad bitches. Because I really like the Adeptus Sororitas.
Yeah. They're like your nuns with guns.
Did I get it right, Dad?
Yes, you did.
Oh,
well done.
Did I make you happy?
Yeah, I didn't actually pick up on it, so well done.
Yay!
I just expect it.
Hello, Dragon Skull Studios. Welcome back. How are you doing, Craig? And then there's a 10-second pause where they have to respond.
Yeah.
So we're chatting about 40k weaponry and stuff, and we're just talking currently about the main weapon of the 40k verse for the Space Marine chapters, the human chapters, and I suppose actually the Chaos chapters as well.
Yeah,
really.
these are wielded by Chaos Space Marines.
I'm good, thank you, Craig. I'm very good. How are you, Alex?
I'm very good, thank you very much.
Let's,
Thank you.
You'll actually have to come along for a stream with Dragon Skull at some point soon.
Cool,
We're
cool.
painting up bits and bobs here and there when we can find time to paint. And I think we're going to be painting up... Oh, actually,
Is that?
did I give you one of the mimics?
I don't know.
I think I had one for you, but I might not have given it to you.
Was it the barrel one?
Yes.
Yes, I remember talking about it, but I don't think I've been given it yet.
Okay, little segue to another show. I think next week we are going to be painting up some mimics, and to which end Craig is painting up the barrel, and I'm painting up another one of them. If you so wanted to come along and join us for that, then feel free. As long as you're okay with that, Craig, which I'm pretty sure you are. You're one of the nicest guys out there.
Is this the individual who you've been doing the monster manual with?
No, that's Richard. Another fine fellow from the Badgers. Yes, so we are looking at the bolt gun right now, and that is a rocket-propelled bullet that basically was designed to eviscerate humans.
Yeah, and they are incredibly effective on all enemies of mankind. And these things, when they bark, they described as like the bark of a bolt gun because it is. Just, yeah, you know, it's sort of like invokes this psychological terror.
Is that because it's like such an explosion that it like lasts? I guess because usually like when we see it in like any sort of sci-fi films or when we see anything like any Hollywood stuff, where it's just like pop, 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 and obviously we know like, and I certainly know what a real gun sounds like, and you do get that crack and that whiz, but obviously like I don't know what a bolt gun sounds like.
I mean, just imagine it like it's supposed to like, so the bark is when it's fired, and then the second ignition when the bullet is propelled is like a.
Oh, so it's like.
It's like a roar that follows the bark. So it'll bark, and then it's the of the bullet itself, which is in itself sounds fucking terrifying.
So is that like something that comes up quite a lot in the lore, like the bark of the bolt guns?
Yeah, or the roar of the ammunition, the bark of the bolt guns. Yeah.
That's cool. Craig says, the more the merrier. So if you are about and you do want to hang out and paint some mimics with us,
appreciate the invite. Thank you very much.
Do come sit in the studio with us, and we will paint up some barrels. Because Craig is taking part. So Dragon Skull Studios recently received one of our mimics that we sell in our store, which you can go find at www.dragonbornindustries.com.
Your merch is looking really cool as well.
Thank you. And he's going to help me paint up some of the ones in there. I'm going to paint up one of the other ones. And obviously, I've given you one because I said that I wanted you to be one of the people that paints one up. And I think it'd be quite cool to sit around and chat and hang and paint.
Sounds good.
So, this is the bolt gun, and we've had a quick look at that one. And that is usually wielded by your Space Marines, which are those ones there, of both the Loyalist factions and also the Chaos factions. So all of those, now evil, or the traitor legions as we call them. Where would you like to go to from here?
I guess we need to talk about that would be your heavy bolter.
Okay, cool. So if you do know that there are pictures in there, do just shout it out to me and I'll go. So that's your heavy bolter. I mean, obviously we've got this sigil of the Imperium of Man on there, and we can see like it's obviously powered more so than the regular bolt gun. Yeah. And I assume that comes off a battery somewhere?
That will sit above the power pack of the Space Marine, so they'll have like a backpack of ammunition.
Okay, so power pack of the Space Marines.
Yes.
That's this thing at the back, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it looks like a jetpack, really, doesn't it? It kind of looks like a Harrier jump jet's engines on the back of like. I don't have a Space Marine to show off. I'll have to buy some. Paint them up for Frugal Dawn. Oh no. Yeah. Actually, that'd be really cool because I really want to do them in pink and then spray them.
Fluffy can't believe just left.
You come back here! You let me spend my money.
Yeah. So I guess I'll briefly touch on the suits unless you want to come back to those.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that this thing over here isn't a backpack or a jump pack or anything.
It's a generator.
It's a generator for the power armor, isn't it? So it's not internal. The power is literally on the back.
Yeah.
So that was the heavy bolter there. It's pretty much the same, but it fires bigger rounds, or it fires.
Yeah, it can fire bigger rounds, or packs more of a punch, more ammunition to choose from, I guess.
Okay, cool. So that's something like, I guess in game you can change between types of ammo.
Yeah. So you can get, I think it might be a destroyer squad that wields sort of like the amped up weapons. I need to get to grips with my actual mini references. But yeah, this is you can wield these in a squad of Space Marines. Some really specialise in that, and yeah, they look really cool.
Very, very cool. Okay, so where would you like me to go to next?
Have we got any more images of bolters or anything like that? So that is another weapon wielded by both Space Marines and baseline humans. That is your plasma cannon, I think it's called. It might not be quite as correct. I think it's plasma rifle, plasma cannon.
Okay, I think I'm hearing a meme, and it's like a picture of like... I'm going to find it, and I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah, cool.
And then I'll ask about it, because I think I know what that is. So tell me about the plasma... So you say done by our baseline humans. So we're talking like, not just like Space Marines in the Sisters of Battle who have access to these suits that allow them to carry more things. We're talking like Imperial Guard here.
Yeah.
Like, these are like your baseline soldiers, your Starship Trooper boys.
This is one of these weapons that is like a remnant of the golden age of technology. And you can get these in different sizes. Obviously, the bigger is wielded by Space Marines, smaller is wielded by baseline humans. So what this does is this fires a ball of plasma, burning plasma, which upon impact explodes and just burns everything in the vicinity. I think it might be promethium is what the fuel is called. So fires a ball of promethium, or it could be plasma. I'm going around in circles, but it's a devastating weapon, and it packs a hell of a punch. If you wanted to take out say a gun turret, this is the weapon you would use effectively against that. So you'll find it. Is this the this isn't the Astartes meme, is it?
No, I think this is here it is.
What's that?
So it says it's got a picture of like a dead Space Marine or dead Imperial Guard. It's like, this is my rifle, this is my gun, this is my plasma. I rolled a 1.
Yeah.
So is that because like they have a habit of kicking back, or is this like?
I don't know, but I think it's funny.
I don't know what I'm laughing at, but it's
I guess maybe weapons handling. I guess that was a thing once upon a time.
Couldn't tell you, but I really liked that meme. I saw it a while ago, and I
cool.
laughed hard because I'm a big fan of dice going wrong.
So
and
these weapons they're a lot rarer than your standard las gun, which we'll get to. But yeah, these are, like I say, a remnant of the golden age of technology that is still wielded across the Imperium.
So how is it still wielded across the Imperium? Is it something that's been refound, like the like rediscovered technology?
Refashioned it, rediscovered it, sort of mass-produced variations of the design. I think it was actually the design was found in an STC or
a fragment of an STC.
A fragment of an STC.
So, I mean, if somebody found like a full STC, that'd be it. Like they win. Like that's 40k done.
Yeah, I think Luton uses a good analogy. Wouldn't necessarily be the be all and end all, but would catapult humanity into catapult humanity to the top, basically.
Yeah. So, and that's sort of why they are now researching and expanding over the galaxy to find one of these STCs, because all they have are these fragments.
Yeah.
These little bits that are like, okay, here's a gun, here is a suit of armour, here's a new ship.
There are these exploratory fleets in the Mechanicum that go out in search of these remnants of human technology. And this is one of the things they've uncovered. That is also a plasma cannon. So you got the Promethium, or the plasma tank that goes in the bottom there. That is a different one.
Okay, I'm still trying to find you bolt guns if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So that's the last cannon.
That's the last
I know
cannon.
that one because I really like the Imperial Guard.
Yeah. That's a dreadnought.
That's not what we're after. Damn it, Alex!
We'll get to this.
I'm going to put that bolt gun back up while I look for the others.
Yeah, cool.
They're the only ones I can see in the Imperium stuff. Just
Yeah, I might have sent you random bits.
Yeah, I think you did, and that's fine. But that's your basic bolt gun, and that's your heavy one there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess since we're there, I want to talk about the las cannon.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like from what I know, your
Las rifle, I think that one.
yeah, las gun, las rifle.
Yeah.
This is like, I mean, that's a pretty souped up Imperial Guard right now.
Yeah,
They don't usually have that much armor on.
No. That's a Cassican trooper, I think.
I couldn't tell you. All I know, I mean, that's a pretty hefty las as well.
Yeah, that's a heavy las.
Yeah.
Heavy las rifle.
Because what they usually are is apparently they're like the worst gun humanity has,
Yeah.
and they're given to every single member of the Imperial Guard, and they are dog shit in comparison.
I think on the table they're dog shit, but in use they're actually pretty powerful. They can't penetrate Space Marine armor unless you get a really jacked up one. But the way these work is these are a very incredibly focused beam of light through the series of lenses.
The laser?
Yeah. I think it works sort of like it pulses. So it's like pulsing light, so it's not necessarily like a one laser, like it's more like a...
I really like this. It's going through the fucking hind of the
yeah, so this is...
Tyranid's head.
This is basically light that's been super focused through a series of lenses, and that's how it gets its punch. And this is your standard Imperial Trooper weapon.
So yeah, we're talking like baseline humans have these as, you know, I guess this is the cheap option.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, I think I did hear once, because it's an energy weapon, like a light that utilizes light. It's actually, there's said to be no recoil with these things.
Oh, cool.
Which is pretty handy.
That would be very useful.
Yeah, and you can get these in different variations. You get like we discussed, las cannons, which are like these surface to wear. So that's a heavy las rifle.
Did you have a las cannon here?
No, but I had a mini at home I was meant to bring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that's so. Is a heavy las just like your submachine gun? Is it like your?
Yeah, so it'll pack more of a punch. So that trooper has ammunition on the back. You can't see it from this image. So yeah, it's just your more amped up las rifle.
Yeah, I really like the Imperial Guard.
If you think about Imperial fortifications, that's when you'd see like las cannons on top, shooting down aircraft or shooting into hordes of enemies, whatever. Like
That's cool.
like that. Yeah, and you can like you can have these mounted on top of tanks, X, Y, Z. Yeah, and this is your standard technology amongst the Imperial Guard and various Imperial factions. And Space Marines do wield las guns as well. Just obviously they're a bigger version of. I think a lot of them are wielded on dreadnoughts, which we'll get to in this.
Well, actually, that's a good segue right there. So
Yeah, sure.
you said they're wielded on dreadnoughts. Now, for people at home, can you describe a dreadnought before I get to the picture? Because like I know what it is just from the name.
Yeah.
And like if you told me what it was from the box, I'm like, oh, that's what that is.
Yeah. So your dreadnought is a dead Space Marine.
Oh, okay, we're going for the lore description. Right, cool. I'll go straight to a picture. So your dreadnought looks like this.
Yeah. Oh, before we get there, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Find the image.
Let's find out. You've ruined the show.
So a dreadnought.
Get out!
Imagine a champion amongst a Space Marine army. I mean, Space Marines, each individual is a champion of humanity. But imagine one of them is mauled or, just completely annihilated, but there's a remnant of life signs. These cadavers, these corpses with remnants of life, will be installed into these machines called dreadnoughts.
It's almost as well like, even if it's just a few organs and stuff like that, they are put in there.
Kind of very RoboCop.
Yeah.
So they'll sit inside an amniotic fluid in what's known as a sarcophagus, and they are activated, and then they're put on standby, and then they're reactivated for combat across thousands of years. And they are just... And they still have sentience. They have a degree of sentience. They can still converse. There's one account where a Space Marine is talking to a dreadnought, and it comes out with this weird grunty noise he can't quite make out of it, and he understands that it's the dreadnought synthesizing laughter. So it just comes out like ah ah ah. And he's like, what the fuck? Oh, he's laughing, So there is sentience there.
Wow.
But yeah, inside this dreadnought is just a sack of fluid and a bunch of organs just wired together.
So why is it important then? If you've got like a dying Space Marine, why not just get a new Space Marine then? Why take the essence of what's left of a
Gene.
the DNA, the blood pool that's still slightly warm, and put it into a machine?
I think it's not only is it sort of like a mark of respect. It's also because when a Space Marine dies, their gene seed is removed to implant into the next Space Marine.
Okay, so we need to talk about that at some point. So that's something we haven't covered.
So I think it's more a case of, well, they're not dead, but they have all this combat experience. They have all this fanatical, zealous feeling when it comes to the Imperium. So they can still provide their services. They just need to do it from beyond the grave.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like basically
these pack a fucking punch. These are your walking tanks.
Yeah, and I think that's it, because you get these in a combat patrol, don't you? Like,
yes.
They come in like most starter sets, and it's like the smallest of the tanks.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know that we see like actual tanks, and I can't remember what they're called with Space Marines.
Rhinos are the troop carriers.
Yeah, so things,
Land Raiders.
Land Raiders and
Predators,
Rhinos is
that
what I was
kind of
thinking of.
Yeah.
And I know that obviously with the Adeptus Militarium, the Imperial Guard, they're obviously like, they look like World War II tanks, but with a bit more souped-up cannons.
Yeah.
Do you ever remember the game, did you ever see the game that was like an arcade game, or a Sega one, called Metal Slug?
Yes.
So I think that the tanks of the Imperial armies look like those.
Yeah.
Which it's one of the reasons I really like them as well, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So these are kind of, I guess, your Ryan, CO, no banter, lads. Hello, Ryan, how are you?
Oh, no way. Oh,
Yeah,
wicked.
that's awesome.
Cool,
Good
man.
to see you, bud. We're chatting nerd shit. Feel free to chime in or ask any questions anytime you want. It's good to see you, bud. It really is. So these
How was your bolognese? Sorry, we're talking about...
Oh, that's
Wait.
throwing me. That's in a really nice way. That's throwing me.
Oh, cool.
So these are like your walking tanks. You can see them in the basic combat patrols in the box sets that you can buy.
Yeah.
But these aren't really the biggest things. And I think you've sent a few more pictures as well of them, just like, that's them on a battlefield, like some of the art that's been done, and like.
And that's so that on the left-hand side is a claw, which this dreadnought will use to like rip up enemies and just like spin it around, tear them limb from limb. And then on the other side, you've got a heavy auto cannon, which is just your amped up minigun.
So you say rip limb from limb. So obviously, like we spoke about the bolt gun, and the bolt gun like is designed to like turn a human into a red mist.
Yeah.
What does this do?
So
what's it designed to kill?
The claw.
And the dreadnought, the whole thing. What is it designed to do?
So this is designed not only to annihilate anything that comes in its way, like baseline humans, lesser Xenos, but this is your one-man job. If you wanted to infiltrate a cult of gene stealers, you may send a dreadnought to make quick work of it.
All right. So when you said infiltrate, I was like, that ain't sneaking in.
No.
I am mutant.
I use the word
out.
infiltrate loosely. I mean, drop in.
Yeah.
Cause some shit. But yeah, they are designed to go up against greater Xenos species.
So are we talking like Tyranids now?
Tyranids, yeah, like
Orcs.
your Brood Lords, Orcs, yeah, they go against Orcs.
Cheers, Ryan. Thank you very much.
Cheers, man. Good to see you.
It's been a long time, and it's great to see you here. And I hope the shed is treating you well. Those in the know will know, and those who don't. So that's designed to go in and basically fuck shit up.
Yeah.
It's just designed to go in and just be like, everything's dead.
Yeah. And it'll come out with these like fanatical phrases like, "I am the hand of the Imperium. I am death. I am destruction. I am your end."
So is that because obviously, like we've spoken in previous episodes about like the hyper religion that now surrounds mankind?
Yeah.
So these like obviously they're like really zealous space troopers that have died. All that's left is like a pulsating mass of biomatter.
Yeah.
They're then fed into this machine, and that like is it like psychic energy that's still like loyal to the Emperor that's then just like for the Emperor?
No, it is the actual Space Marine talking.
Oh wow! Okay,
And it's
so
being
it's like
synthesized through machinery.
Wow.
And is projected through a speaker.
that's pretty fucking
And
nuts.
this is controlled because, a lot like RoboCop, the brain is still a thing is...
Dentrack. Oh man, I love in-jokes. I'd love to be part of one myself one day. One day. Aww.
Where was
I feel really bad for you now, Dentrack. Yeah, and it's just basically these zealous space marines that are...
Because the organs are... It's basically an augmented brain, so the brain is plugged into this machine and it's controlling its movements. They don't sleep, they're just put on standby, and the next time a battle occurs, they're just turned on and then sent to the front lines. And then, they could be on standby for 6 months to 10 years.
So that's awesome that they retain that combat knowledge to basically be useful to the chapter even after their death.
Yeah.
Imagine in a hyper-religious warmongering society that is a massive
I think we got a few more dreadnought images to show.
Oh, okay, cool.
There's one crushing an orc, so that's another similar design. That is a Space Wolf dreadnought, which does have a name. I can't remember the name now.
Howling Gunfuck.
It's something like Frost Claw or something like that.
Oh, so they're named
these are individuals. These are legends.
Do they keep the same name as their original Space Marine, or do they become
more or less? Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So it could be like Steve.
Yeah.
And if there was a Space Marine called Steve, he would become Steve the Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Oh. Which one is that one there?
Yeah, there's.
That's a Chaos Space Marine right there.
That is, yeah, and that is a Black Templars dreadnought.
Okay, who are the Black Templars?
They are a chapter of the Imperial Fists, or a cut-off of the Imperial Fists. So they share their genealogy with Rogel Dawn, but after the Horus Heresy, the legions of Space Marines were broken up into different chapters, so no one legion could take over.
Yeah.
So there are, I think they're called successor chapters, where the Imperial Fists still exist, but the greater masses are broken down into other chapters, like your Black Templars.
Oh, okay.
Things like that.
That makes more sense. Yeah, I just didn't know, because I've seen them about, but I know that there's one that's like, not all Marines of a traitor legion became traitors. Some of them went and joined and created a new legion or something like that, and that's why you see Space Marines in black, but then they have their original pauldron,
that's right.
which is really cool. I really like that.
Yeah.
Any more to really talk about the Dreadnought?
There is another image of that's the good one.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, and that's what the claw does. It'll just grab an individual orc and just tear it apart, whilst firing this another fucking bastard of a weapon.
Who's cleaning that up?
I guess they're just gonna have to virus bomb the whole thing.
Yeah, well. Oh man, that's an easy way of tidying up.
Yeah.
Tidy your room! Virus bomb.
Yeah.
That's so. Is that just a basic orc, or is that
That's a basic orc.
Okay, so it's not an orc warlord or something Wag Lord or whatever it's called.
War boss.
Wag
boss, something like that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But these dreadnoughts would fight this orc boss if it ever occurs. There are other things called dread knights, which is where I stumbled over my words then, because they are dreadnoughts. They're just controlled by living Space Marines, and they're just like a big exoskeleton. Get away from her, you bitch! That kind of stuff.
Oh man, we should watch Aliens.
Yeah, we should.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. You can actually buy that mini, by the way, the Loader mini. It's on Etsy.
Which one? Oh yeah. There's a game by Gale Force 9.
Yes.
Sorry,
Aliens. My flip flop just came off.
It's
fucking hot.
Oh God! For the Emperor.
You're making cheese. Anyway.
God! It smells when you took your flip flop off. No.
Don't say it, Ryan. Don't say it, Ryan, if you're still watching. I know the joke.
I want to be part of an in-joke.
No. It'll probably put out.
No, that's fine.
Dude, look at that. That fucking worked. Treat.
Oh, awesome. Do you want to show it off?
Oh, sure, yeah.
So, yeah, obviously we're painting up some minis while we're doing this, and I'm just going around doing some line work, which is boring as shit. But Alex is trying to get some pop in colour on there. So tell the lovely ladies and gents and boys and girls, what is your doing?
So I'm still going on with my wash over the second dry brush, which I'm using I finally decided that the Agrax Earthshade is far superior to what I want to do. Originally I was using Skeleton Horde, and then I accidentally mistook Agrax Earthshade for Flesh Tone, but it's the Earthshade that's packing the colour.
A happy accident.
A happy accident, yeah, because it's really bringing out the red tones.
I'm carrying on with the line work on this beast. So what you should be able to just about see is the Ungor flesh, which is a very bright, pale orange on the bright orange. And it's probably not going to come in off that glare, but it's all around the oranges on there and on the edges. And I'm just trying to keep it as tidy as possible because we just... what I didn't realise when I first grabbed a load of towel was how much line work I was going to end up doing because everything is in panels. And in all fairness, I really wish now that I had a towel combat patrol and was doing the slapdash approach like you are because I
don't know, it'll pay off, man.
It will.
It looks sick.
But you know when you're like midway through something and you're just like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Yeah. It's kind of like that.
It's always important to have, what is it, like 3 projects on the go?
Oh, 3. I mean, look at this room.
yeah, there's a lot of shit going on.
There's a lot of shit going on in this room because apparently I have to be in every fucking pie. Dantrag, there are a few weapons I've heard about, but OBS know nothing about other than they sound brutal. Chainswords, demon hammer, goose flare.
So your chainsword is...
Have you got a picture?
No, I did think about it afterwards.
Motherfucker!
But it is a fucking cool-ass weapon. So...
I'll do the work then, shall I?
Yes, please.
Chainsword.
It's
God, I have to type that into Google now.
It is exactly as it sounds. It is a chain sword.
So it's made of chains.
It's a chainsaw wielded like a sword, and it has teeth that gore into an enemy. And this is wielded by Space Marines and lesser humans like commissars, things like that, which is sort of like your officers. We'll get there.
They're like baseline humans, aren't they? Yeah. So it's not just by Space Marines, these are wielded by like
but
people
Space Marines,
they
do some damage when it's wielded by a Space Marine.
But it's not just the Imperium that use these, is it? Because you get Orcs that use them as well.
You get Orcs that use them, you can get Eldari use them, variations of. But yeah, your iconic chainsword just tears...
I am getting an image, guys, I am.
Oh yeah, you're getting there. It just tears flesh apart. And I think as it enters, it bites and it drags down through the body, given the motion of the teeth. So it sort of like gains traction.
Whoop!
Yeah. So that is an iconic image from the game Space Marine.
What a clever name.
yeah.
Well, it's a game about Space Marines, what do we call it?
Space Marine. Oh god. Yeah.
Fuck me. Come on, guys! Yeah, and it is quite literally... From what I remember, it's like each individual sharp bit of the chain is like...
they're like teeth.
Yeah, but they're like to a molecular level or something. They're so sharp, they're at like... I
think that's the Eldari ones.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, because Eldari weaponry is a bit different in terms of... Like, it's energy. It's more energy-based.
Yeah, although it's like one of those like really fine carbon blades where it can like rip through skin like nothing else.
It kind of like it almost like tears through reality itself. It's so sharp. It's so sharp. If you've ever seen what's that series called with the knife? You know what I'm talking about, right?
No.
His Dark Materials.
I don't know it.
Oh, okay. There's this knife that's so sharp it tears through reality, and that's how you enter parallel universes. It's kind of like Eldari weaponry is similar to that, so is Necron weaponry. So that's your chainsword. What's the next one?
Okay. Then he spoke about demon hammers.
So I think the demon hammers, if I remember correctly, are wielded by your Grey Knights, which are your demon hunters.
Okay, so this is a specific chapter of Space Marines. Is that one, yeah?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yes, it is Grey Knights. So yeah. The Grey Knights they were sort of formed during the tail end of the Horus Heresy, where these loyalists and individuals from traitor forces were gathered together. They were like the best of the best.
They're like the special forces of Space Marines.
They share a gene seed with no Primarch. Well, in later generations, they did, obviously in the first generations, but later on, I think they're only... their gene seed can perhaps be traced back to and only the Emperor.
Oh wow! So these are like direct, like
yeah, they share
not descendants, but
genetic
they are like
information with the Emperor.
And we'll get on to how they create Space Marines and what you mean by the gene code, gene seed, and genetic makeup in time. So we covered it briefly in episode 2 when we talked about the Imperium of Man, but it needs deeper detail. We'll get to that in time. So that is a hammer, a demon hammer.
Yeah. So the Grey Knights they wield this special armor, which is it is Space Marine armor, but it is sort of fine-tuned to resonate psychic energy. So you talked about the psychers, the librarians. This is like pumped into the weapons as well, so the weapons pack extra punches. And these demon hammers, they are demon killers.
So this is like a holy weapon, basically.
I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure...
Are specifically good against the forces of
Yeah, unless
chaos.
I'm thinking about weapons that are in themselves actually possessed by demons. So like you get things like demon swords, demon weapons, demon titans, that kind of shit. We'll talk about titans soon, but...
Yes, because that is technology. Did you put pictures of titans in?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. We'll get to that.
So the next one is... I do actually have some Necron images as well, so...
That's fine, I will get to that one. Oh, okay, so I don't need to look for that one.
No.
So
Yeah, so that's Destroyer. So your Gorse rifle is your standard...
Is it that one?
Yeah, your
Awesome.
standard Necron weapon.
So-
And what this does is it strips your atoms layer by layer until you're rendered to naught but ash.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a deatomizer, basically.
Deatomizer.
Like,
Yeah.
and it just kind of like... So when, obviously, against a base human, that's going to hit us and we're just going to go...
Yeah. You got no
that'll
chance.
snap dust to
It's kind of
nothing.
like it is very much aesthetically the effect of this weapon is like Mars attacks. You know, sort of like it's over before it even begins.
So that, I was going to bring up something here, which is like, you know, when we look at the Necrons, these are your Terminator-looking Mars attacks technology.
Yeah.
You know,
I like to think it sounds a little bit better and not just the you know.
yeah, I imagine it's like I
Yeah.
imagine like a sonic charge from like a sonic mine from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Bzing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really
Seismic
like
charge.
that.
Stand by.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really imagine that one with them. And when we look at like the Necrons, obviously like these are, as far as the tabletop game is concerned, these are like relatively new, yes.
Yeah.
And although in the lore you were saying last week they've been around since way before
Yeah.
humankind and way before.
Millions.
Yeah, like 65 million. Like they were around with the old ones. But this is what they became. They didn't look like this before, did they? This is like
Yeah.
they ended up
So this was.
looking like this after they were enslaved.
Don't think there is a few examples of the Necron tier, like fan illustrations, which I would love to show, but obviously I didn't want to get around that
Yeah,
in
so
such a hurry.
again, if while we're showing images, we're
A
going to try
humanoid
and
species.
try and show like as many of the official images as possible, so that you know, we don't discredit any artists out there or anything like that. But if we do show an image of yours and you're like, hey, get out of my artwork.
Yeah.
That's fine. Let us know, and we'll either credit you or we'll try and do something about it, and hopefully, you know, just try and be nice people about it, really.
Yeah.
But that's like your base Necron, and that's so. What's their rifle called?
The Gorse rifle, I think.
Gorse
Gorse
rifle.
cannon. Gorse flare. That's it. Yeah.
And which way do you want me to go on here? This way or back this way?
So yeah, that's another example of.
Oh, man, I love that like Tesseract glow.
Yeah. That's cold machine, just like a dead soul.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, it's so cool.
It's very cool. I really like that.
And these scarabs crawling across as well. They're like just.
The minis are really cool. I really like those, and yeah, I think that like when you look at like Necrons as a race, they do look badass.
Yeah, they're cool as fuck.
Like skeletal robots.
Yeah.
It's-
They are as sort of like the silent hordes of these things marching into battle silently,
yeah.
tearing the flesh off people, and with no remorse, no emotion, just cold machines.
Because they are soulless, because they lost their souls when
they are
the
drowned.
Silent King.
Silent King was the leader, the Catan.
Yeah,
So
they made a deal with the Silent King, who
Yeah,
basically was tricked into giving away all the souls of the Necrons
all the
here,
sentients. Yeah, that's right.
which then became the Necron, who were then the foot soldiers for the Catan.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes!
Drones.
Oh, I'm fucking throwing my
Well
papers
done,
everywhere. So, that's like a bit. Like these things behind. These are like their temples.
So that is a Necron monolith. These are vehicles, tanks. You see the Necrons in that artwork pouring out of the monolith.
Oh, these are like troop carriers.
They're troop carriers, but these contain like, pocket dimensions. So not only are they troop carriers, there are millions and millions of these Necrons pouring out of this monolith from elsewhere in the universe. This is the extent of Necron technology. They have a mastery of physics and metaphysics. They don't utilize the warp at all. They just have this masterful technology.
Wow.
And, yeah, the monolith is just I mean, look at it. It looks fucking cool. It's just this.
It's one of my favourite images that you sent.
Pyramid machine that's installed with Gauss flare cannons. All the while, these Necrons are pouring out of it, and this is just causing havoc. And this is one of your standard Necron constructs.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So
I hope that covers that question.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, so that's the effect of a Gauss flare. Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like, just strips away the flesh.
That's very
Eventually, the bones will go as well.
You sound like a serial killer. Eventually, the bones will go. They dissolve him in the acid.
What's going on?
Yes. Yes, I saw his head go. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at
Yeah.
another one there. And then, let's talk about this.
So that is a Necron destroyer. And
Tell me, Alex.
That is a Necron tank. It's basically like an anti-gravitic platform with heavy weaponry installed. So that is a Necron individual that is, in fact, itself a tank, utilising a Gauss cannon. And these things, you know, zip up and down the battlefield, rending flesh and the like.
So, like, these are like your speed machines. Then.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And again, this is like a playable thing on the tabletop,
Yeah,
right?
these look cool as fuck.
Because I think you said that. Did you have one of these, or you were getting one of these, or something like that?
I think a friend had a Necron army back in the day. I think I confused Tyranids with Necrons when I was like 11 years old, because I saw the Necron wraiths, which I did actually include a photo. Yeah, they had tails. So I said, I want the ones with the tails. But it was actually...
That's a Tau. That's a Tau!
We'll get to this. I think there was only 1 or 2 images of the wraith, maybe towards the end. So that's another monolith. More monoliths, yeah.
Man, look at those. It's like a Dalek, but with like green lightning and...
And this is how they move. And these phase into reality. So they don't all just drop in to the atmosphere. They phase into the reality from elsewhere in the universe.
I can't see it in there, dude.
Ah, don't worry about it. It's all good.
We'll get to that.
If we happen across it, we'll happen across it.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, like, the fact that they just, like, phase out, it's just like, like, ancient
and
alien pyramids.
This is another thing. When Necrons are downed, they don't all remain on the battlefield. They will phase out and reanimate after being repaired.
Well, I suppose when you're a robot of billions of years old, that's kind of, you know...
Yeah.
Oh, I got my Charlie. That's all right. Get yourself back out there, mate.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get some coffee.
And I beat him to death with his own shoes. We should watch Wayne's World as well at some point. So that's those ones there. I'm going to go back a little bit. Wait, I don't want to come from there.
That is a No, that's an... Yeah, we'll get to that. Get off it. That's fine.
No, I want to go this way. I want to go this way. Right, we were here. So now we are looking at...
Yeah.
We're going to move off the Necron, and we're going to go to my bad boys.
The Tau.
The Tau Empire.
Yeah, so the Tau...
Oh, I've got this.
Okay, if you want to do it.
What's that?
So that is a standard fire warrior of the fire caste, wielding a pulse rifle, I think it is. Is it pulse rifle?
Or a railgun.
They do have railgun technology.
All I know is that people say Tau and then railgun.
So
I've looked at the rules, I promise.
The Tau utilise mostly energy-based weaponry. Ion cannons, pulse rifles, things like that. I did actually read last night that the Tau Empire originally acquired ion weaponry through the Votan.
Oh, really?
Gave them the templates for the technology, which the Tau Empire honed in on, redesigned, and kind of like finessed.
That's a pulse rifle, isn't it?
That's a pulse rifle, yeah.
So this one is, I think, a railgun. If I'm wrong...
I did actually have it on my phone. So look.
If I'm wrong, and I'll get to that one in a minute, that could be a pulse rifle.
So we look.
Obviously, I'll give you Alex's home address.
Yeah.
So that you can all berate him for stuff. Don't come to me. Alex is obviously the lawgiver here.
I just want to get the correct name for this.
Oh, get off your phone!
You have a stream to do, man.
We're at work, buddy.
Pulse rifle. Yeah, it is a pulse
Oh,
rifle.
that is a pulse rifle.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's the other one then?
So, the ion cannons are the things you find on the the gunships. So yeah, that's an ion cannon.
Okay, so that's an ion cannon, and that's on a gunship, which
Yeah,
is
I think that's that.
what I'm
Yeah.
working
And you
on
get
here.
you get variations like hammerhead gunships, which is
The
that
one
is
with
the
the big,
railgun.
Yeah, it's a massive railgun on it. And I didn't see a mini for that when I first picked these up, because I was like, I want a big tank with a railgun. And I don't think it was around. I think it was like in previous editions.
Maybe they discontinued them. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can find it on eBay.
Same with like Commander Farsight, they're bringing out the new Farsight Enclave stuff, but like I couldn't get hold of him.
Yeah.
But because this version has the turret that goes in there and then the commander that sits in. But what is quite nice about them is, and something I really liked about the tower, is all of those drones that you get actually sit in the mini.
Yeah.
Which I really.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the other reasons I went
There
for this
is a-
faction.
There is a gunship. It's called the Drone Harbinger.
And it's just.
And it just pumps out drones across the battlefield.
Yeah.
And this works as like a central sort of computer AI thing.
Yeah, because that is the tower, isn't it? It's like everything's like.
If there's anyone out there who still plays the first Dawn of War, Dark Crusade, I think, is when you can play the Tau factions. If you use the Drone Harbinger to fight the enemy, you will win the game.
Oh, really?
It's fucking. I think it's underused, but it packs a fucking punch. Yeah,
I've never played that either.
that's great.
I'm
sure you can get it on Steam if you can't get hold of a physical copy.
No, I'm on electricity, mate. Such a
Damn,
shit
son.
joke. Right, so that's a pulse rifle. This is the ion cannon, which is
Yeah.
part of the Tau thing. Let's move across slightly to.
Yeah, so that's another pulse rifle there. So yeah,
But
and they
like-
do use projectile technology, but by and large, it's energy based.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll point out here is actually the suits of armour that they're wearing.
Yeah.
Because I know from reading the only one, I say reading, listening to the one book I've listened to of Warhammer, that obviously like Tau are smaller than humans by standard.
Yeah.
Only just they're like maybe a couple of inches shorter on average, but and it's not about size, is it? And they had to adapt to a galaxy that was so embroiled in war that like as soon as they reached out into the stars, they were like, oh fuck, we're gonna get squashed.
Yeah.
So they created these suits, or it could have been an STC, we don't know.
Yeah.
And
right.
It kind of like toes
And
the
like
line.
trade and things like that as well.
Yeah, but what's cool is they are just as strong almost as ceramite, because they have a living metal on them.
Yeah.
So like they have like this strong metallic alloy anyway, I believe. But then they've got a coating of living metal over the top of them, which allows for like
Quick repair.
Yeah, but I don't think it's quick repair. I think it like deflects rounds and bolts and stuff.
It's kind of like the Necrodermis, which is like a living metal that heals itself.
Yes, it's basically that same thing. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And yeah, so that's their equivalent of power armor.
Yeah.
So whereas like when you look at like the tabletop game and you see like the Space Marines and like even their like priests and their basically everybody's in a suit of armor.
Yeah.
And they might or might not wear a helmet. The Tau pretty much are like all in these suits except for ethereals who have next to no armor on whatsoever, and they are you're sort of like mysterious leaders, not quite magic
Shamans.
Yeah, because they don't have access to the warp that we know of.
Yeah.
But they are certainly like there's something's not right.
There is a
going on.
theory that they control the masses by means of like pheromones or something like that.
And brainwashing and like
there's an account of a ethereal getting its head blown off by an Imperial sniper, and this entire
Carter basically disrupts into chaos.
yeah.
See
his head go.
Yeah, I think that's in the Farsight book that I read. They were like, it's like I questioned it when Turon's sun was destroyed. Their entire force became X, Y, and Z. And talks about how they like fall apart. But yet they wear next to no armor, and there must be a reason for that. Then we have coming up here, slightly different weapon.
So yeah, that's a. I think that is a. What is it called? I can't remember what it's called.
Auto rifle? No. I just imagine alien sort of things like that.
I think it is. It's sort of like a different variation of the
pulse rifle.
Pulse rifle, yeah.
Yeah. But they're like your two like main fire carder weapons. The longer one, the pulse rifle, is I think for longer range when it comes to the tabletop, and these ones are like your close quarter pathfinders.
Yeah.
And they're like quick fire ones. Let's have a look. I mean, yeah, look at that, like bouncing off the that shoulder pauldron. They've only got this like one square shoulder pauldron. I think that's the Pathfinder unit.
Yeah. Do you know? I never knew that about tower armor.
I'm pretty sure.
I learned something.
If I'm wrong, hit Alex up for it. There are two different kinds. There's like this one here, which is like slightly different. It's like more bulky and not as slender. One is like a fire card of fire team, and the other one is the Pathfinders or something.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember, but there's two different shoulder pauldrons. But they have like one which is really slender and the other one which is like really big, and they don't have like this like even armor. But it is cool. Like not quite sure what they're on now. I don't know if it's like an orc thing or a space marine thing they're shooting into, but I love that blue glow of the weapon.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
It's really cool. Yeah, I love it.
I really like this image. It's one of my favourite images.
Yeah, it's like a Tau aggro world. I think that is.
Yeah, there you go. That's a thick pauldron compared to the thin one.
Do you know the Tau always remind me of those aliens from the movie Signs?
Yes.
I can just kind of see that in them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without the gas claws or whatever they got.
I loved that. I looked at that colour scheme and I was like, "That's what I want to do with my Tau."
Yeah.
And then didn't. I was just like, "Nope."
I do love that classic like desert sand.
Yeah, Tau like ochre is the colour. It's that one right there, and I love seeing people's armies that are in that. But I decided to go blue and orange because I really like that colour.
I would go Balkan, I think they're called. It's like grey and blue, grey and sky blue.
So okay, before we quickly move on to more about the armour, we talk about colour schemes. And you can paint up your armies however you want. They're your toys at the end of the day. You take them home, you paint them, kit bash them, do whatever you want with them. However, some people like to stick to a theme. I've got obviously for my own colours because I really like blue and orange.
Yeah.
But you can follow paint schemes of chapters or of like different things, and they can make differences to a game, can't they?
Yeah.
They give you different abilities and stuff like.
If you wanted to play rules within rules, you get things like you can play the baseline rules, or you can get codexes where you have like different, like you say, different factions have their own unique abilities. Different, like in the Necrons, you have like dynasties with their own separate abilities. Space Marines specialise in certain things. Yeah,
that's awesome. So that's pretty much like the base of the Tau. We got like we obviously haven't covered like things like the crisis battle suits yet and stuff, because like when you move up to like your commanders and like your heavier hitters, you get like larger transformer Gundam suits and you get stealth suits and stuff like that. But like we'll get to that. So let's see what's next. Okay, we're back on some Space Marine stuff here.
Yeah, I guess the power armor.
Okay, so let's go a bit more in depth about the power armor.
So this is one of the earlier generations of power armor. I think it's shit. I just dropped my phone. How the fuck did that get over there? Sorry, man.
No, it's
yeah, it's fine. It's like Mach 2, Mach 4. So this power armor basically acts as an extension to the Space Marine in that it, by means of like interfaces, fuses with their body through these like ports in the body. So the Space.
I feel like the Matrix when like Neo is plugged in at the back.
Exactly
there.
like that. And the Space Marines, when they are altered into these transhumans, they have something called the Black Carapace, which is like a fused rib cage. And it's basically an interface for these suits of armour. So the Space Marines wear this armour as if it was a second skin. So it's not cumbersome. If they were to lose this interface, if sort of like the power drops out, they can still move, but it'd be very cumbersome, very heavy. But this interface allows them to use it as a second skin. That's why they're so effective.
So it's like almost like they're wearing nothing at all.
Nothing
at all.
And they have these like sealed helms where they can like fight in the void and space. And we talked about the backpacks earlier, which are a power generator for this armor. And dude,
like that
so that's a plasma cannon or plasma pistol that Space Marine is wielding. And yeah, this is your standard Space Marine armor. It's made from a material called ceramite. There are different variations, but by and large, it's ceramite. And
so what is ceramite?
I guess I'd be a cross between. Well, ceramic is that used in like military craft?
Yeah, I do believe that there are ceramic plates within things like tanks.
I would imagine it's like a fusion of like ceramic and whatever else.
Yeah, basically, I think like in terms of lore, it's like a new alloy that's been found.
Yeah.
That's like stronger and more.
There are alloys that we're familiar with today, which have different names in 40k, but then you have these like these different things that don't exist now, but they're a fusion of something else in the future, like ceramite, like plasteel, things like that.
Plasteel, which is plastic and steel.
Yeah, armor glass, which is glass like armor, or transparent armor.
You son of a bitch! I would never have worked that out.
Yeah. So yeah, that is why a Space Marine is as effective as it is, because like each blow is the killing blow, because they are walking in these suits, and they might still be a bit weighty, but by and large they can be utilized really efficiently because they are a second skin via means of this
Black carapace.
black carapace, this surgically implanted interface.
So you say surgically implanted. This is like a Space Marine is obviously like a souped-up human, a transhuman. You said earlier that has transcended past the point of your baseline human, because they have been training hard.
Training, surgical implantations, augmetics. What's it called? Psychic conditioning, things like that.
So you say implantations, and you spoke about the black carapace, and obviously that's been implanted.
The black carapace is like a blend of surgically implanted and mutation. So I think the black carapace is a physical mutation, which was said to be one of the most difficult things or difficult challenges when it came to like designing these Space Marines.
And that was like so. And we've also spoken about like
it's like a controlled mutation.
Yeah,
which
and
fuses the rib cage, and I think these ports are surgically implied. It's kind of like neural links, that kind of thing.
So when you say mutated, obviously we've spoken before about like how mutation is a big no-no, and how technology and evolving new technologies are no-no. But they've mutated Space Marines, and they've evolved this technology to like allow them to interface into, which seems like heretech to me.
I mean, it's sanctioned technology, so not sanctioned.
Needs must if the ends justify the means.
Yeah, sanctioned technology, I guess. I mean, this is designed by the Emperor and his gene craft groups.
So this is specifically designed by the Emperor of Now.
Yeah, and various other like groups of people with that mastery of technology, but by and large, it is the Emperor's design. And these come in various forms. That's that big bloke at the back is the chapter master of the Ultramarines, Minus Calgar. And
what's he holding there?
It looks like a Tyrannid skull.
Oh, nice.
And these gauntlet bolters.
Oh, so they're like underneath, so he can punch and shoot at the same time.
And there's a Ultramarine there wielding a chainsword, which looks like he's about to behead a.
Down here. Yeah. Oh, that's actually not on the image down there, so you guys got to see it at home.
Just imagine it.
I'll see if we can bring it up actually. Let's go that way. Yeah, you can just see it just down here.
Yeah.
Big old alien getting his head chopped off with chainsaw. So that's some bits about the power armor. Shooting into a Chaos Space Marine there, and you can see like even there, like between your hero, your Space Marines, your like good guys, and then the bad guy Space Marines with the Chaos ones here, they're still wearing power armor. They're still wearing the same stuff that the Emperor came up with, who is obviously the enemy now of them.
Yeah.
But because it's so powerful, they're still wielding it.
I think that's like ancient ceramite, but because they have these like abilities granted by these like chaotic powers, like plague marines, things like that. It's like heavily corroded, but this Chaos Space Marine is no longer, your standard space marine. It's like an immortal, what's the word? Mockery of the Emperor's designs.
Oh, so it's there to kind of like tease him and be like, hey, look what we've done to your...
Yeah, ancient ceramite isn't as strong as it used to be, but by and large, because these Marines, these Chaos Marines, they're no longer what they used to be. They can take punches, things like that. But yeah, heavily corroded ancient ceramite, which doesn't really do as well as it used to. Bit of a segue there. Sorry.
No, it's good because like I'm just going to start going through these pictures now. Obviously, that's Space Marine with the bolt gun. We've spoken about the bolt gun.
Yeah.
Same again.
So that is a Primaris Marine. That is a newer breed of Space Marine wielding.
What's this?
That is.
Why have they got horse trophies on them?
They
Ribbons.
are. What are they called? Oaths of Moment. It's basically a.
Oh yeah.
When you make it. I don't know the reference.
Sorry, I was in the moment.
All right. So it's kind of like bravery seals. When you make an oath, you are given this like oath of moment where you have to live up to that oath. It's very like tradition within the Imperium, very superstitious in terms of the religion or like the.
So that's a religious thing then. It is
Yeah.
quite literally like this weapon's been blessed.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly.
Does it give you more power?
I mean, psychologically, yes, I guess, but physically, no.
And
It's
those of you out there
very
who
much a tradition.
play the game, let us know if it does actually make a difference to your armies on the table, because I would like to know if that's like a reason to like put those on there and paint them up. But that's cool. So it's like almost like this gun has been blessed by the ecclesiarchy.
Yeah.
Therefore, you will go and
And these Space Marines, they have their own ceremonial blessings that they carry out with like incense and things like that, and then like these oaths of moment are slapped on their weapons to remember this, whatever it is they're about to carry out, things like that. Yeah, it's kind of like the culture of the Imperium.
Nice.
Basically, yeah.
Oh yeah, because everything has become hyper religion.
Yeah.
So here we go. This is I recognise that as an Imperial Fist tank.
Yep.
Um,
So that is a Space Marine Rhino. That is your standard troop carrier.
Okay, so whereas what I'm painting up here, which is the gunship or the hammerhead, I can't remember quite what it's called. This is my troop carrier that I've got that came with the combat patrol. This here is the down here is the Space Marine equivalent, basically, of your troop carrying land tank.
Yes. And it's not the most potent vehicle that the Space Marines wield, but by and large it does what it does. It's a transport, which you can have twin bolters mounted on the top like so, smoke screens, that kind of thing. It's just a quick vehicle to get around the battlefield if aircraft aren't available.
So it's literally for troop deployment.
Yeah, exactly that.
So let's see if we can bring up the next one now. Right.
So that's another image. That's a Dark Angels Rhino.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So that's a variation of the Rhino from the Horus Heresy. I can't remember what it's called.
So this is like an earlier adaptation of the technology. So was that like evolved upon, which it shouldn't have been evolved upon, or was it like more
it was more like a pattern, like different patterns of vehicles.
So it's like a blueprint.
Yeah, like it's beneath the surface is exactly the same, but they have like different patterns with like slightly different things attached to them, that kind of thing. So that is your Space Marine Land Raider, which is.
I'm imagining your tank, not just a troop carrying one. This is like a
you can use it as you can use it as a troop carrier, as well as a go fuck yourself tank, and obviously these huge gun batteries are placed on the side and above and behind, and you can have anything from like las cannons to heavy flamers, auto cannons, heavy bolters, that kind of thing. And these pack a punch, and they look like the sort of the World War One British Army tanks.
I think that's what I was going to kind of like jump to there. Is like what I really like is that that does look like the original Mark 1 tank, and you can see those on those of you who are military buffs, like things like the Royal Tank Regiment has that as their sort of main cap badge. And the other thing I really like about the Imperial Fist is they have that metal gauntlet, which is actually the metal gauntlet is also used for the Royal Armoured Corps as a whole. And that's what kind of why I like the Imperial Fist.
That's wicked.
Being an ex-member of the Armoured Corps. Yes. However, these dudes, they have that like all over like tank track. They've got like the side guns, which I remember from films like Indiana Jones, when it was just like he was hanging off it and like
tearing through enemy lines.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool to see that like they've got that awesome looking retro grade material. Like, you wouldn't look at that as a tank of the future. You would see that as like...
That's why 40k is unique in that a lot of these designs, they look kind of silly, you know, but we fucking love it.
But that's kind of the point, isn't it? It's high. I mean, we play D&D and we play like other games as well. And like, obviously, like we're talking like Magic and Wizards, and this is like a future sci-fi version of that. And they take a lot of the stuff that we would instantly recognise as a fucking tank. Yeah. And you go, oh, it's clearly a tank. It looks like your classic World War II tank. Yeah. The only thing that gets me about the Imperium is they have an Imperial Eagle. And
yeah, well, that
there was a history of an army that used that weren't exactly the good guys. In my opinion.
The Imperial Aquila is what it's called.
Oh, hydrogen! Hello, how are you? We're talking about 40k and the weaponry and technology around 40k.
A glossing over.
Yeah, and it is a glossing over. Like, I think the first 5 episodes have been mostly that, and we're going to ask for a more in-depth, like, what do people want? But, yeah, it's great to have you here. Welcome to the show. Yeah, so this is obviously like, you know, they've taken like that World War II-ness and like, you know, that definitive, you know what this is, we're going to make it our thing. And that is definitely the...
and in that image as well, you've got the, see speeding above.
Oh, there, the thing that look like the land speeders.
Land speeders.
Oh, it's called a land speeder.
Yeah. They are anti-gravitic weapons platforms utilised as sort of like recon, fast attack vehicles, light aircraft. Well, not light aircraft, but light aircraft relative to the Space Marines.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have...
Because what I see there is a bit of like Blade Runner meets Star Wars, and it's like a Fifth Element actually. Yeah. I just see that like kind of like speeder car chases and stuff, but actually it's basically one person drives it, the other one's got a bolt gun on it, and they're just like... And like, I think the TOW equivalent is the Piranha, right? It's this, thing
exactly.
here, which I've been painting up.
And you know the Imperial Guard version, maybe the no, actually not the Walkers. Ignore what I was saying.
We got
some questions.
Yeah. So they are silly, but I like that and don't look like the future. Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah. I remember this is the grim dark of the far future. This is like beyond science fiction. Yeah. This is like full circle fighting for survival.
I like that.
All out warfare. Use anything you have.
That's the hammerhead.
That's the hammerhead. Yeah.
So this is an actual model. That's it's basically this tank, but it has that fucking railgun on it.
Yeah.
Look at that. I want that. Instead, I've got this carrying troops around. Oh, get you the battle taxi. Oh. No, it's really cool. I wanted to get that, but I couldn't get hold of the gun. Yeah. And otherwise, I'd be doing.
I'm sure you can get
on that.
Kit bashing kits.
Oh, I could probably 3D print one.
Okay.
I'm just probably not going to.
Miss you.
But yeah, I think hopefully with 10th edition.
Can you get it closer? The land speeders or the TOW?
Or one of the things that we're painting.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Whoop.
Yeah.
So that's currently what I'm painting up, and then we had the Piranha, which was that ship just there. Oh, the speeder. Let's have a look at the speeders before. Let's see if I can get those up.
I mean, you can...
Actually, I can do
if
it
that
here.
Doesn't do it justice, you can...
Let's see. Whoop.
Different image maybe if that doesn't quite work. I don't know why I didn't include the land speeders. Again, I was messaging you last night, and for every one image I sent, I could remember another 5 technologies.
And yeah, I think this is going to be like a glossing over. There you go. So hopefully that'll be a little bit clearer for you to see a speeder up there. Yeah. And yeah, I think like a lot of our stream prep, which was done last night and today, because that's just how this show is going apparently. Yeah. But
it's a very relaxed approach. There are other channels that you can get more in-depth lore that I myself watch and love.
I find it silly too, but that's kind of what works. Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really cool. I like it a lot. Yeah. So that's the speeders there. I'm going to bring this one back. Oh god. Oh god. Transform.
They look a little dark at least, don't they? Maybe I'm going too heavy on the wash.
I will have a look in a second. Let's have a quick... Sorry, I'll move this window around now.
It's all good. It's all good.
Totally professional, guys. Totally professional. Do you know why they're called land speeders and land raiders?
I do.
Well, I imagine that's called a land raider because it's on the land. raiding.
So Land, I believe, was actually a character
Oh.
from the 40k universe. I read this very recently, so the more recent I read something, the less I remember it until it actually imprints.
Fair enough.
But Land was an individual. What's that? They discovered
They are discovered
the
by
Land
the Land
Tech
Priest.
Priest.
His name. Oh,
Yes.
that's cool.
Yeah, I read that days ago.
Oh,
And I
really?
didn't actually remember that fact, but that's great. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, because
There
you
you
think,
go.
oh, the land speeder, but it's got nothing to do with that.
His last name. Look at
Yeah.
that. There you go. So this is good. Teach us things as we go, because like we said at the start of this series, I know next to nothing about 40k.
Yeah.
I like painting minis. I like playing war games. I've read one book, and I say read it. I listened to it on Audible, and it was the Farsight Enclave book with Commander Farsight, which was incredible. However, Alex here has read the majority of the Heresy, if not all of it up to date.
Yeah.
But it's just trying to fill me in on any lore, and we're trying to like go through it 2 hours at a time and like have him explain to me what different things are
There's
as we
a
paint
lot
them.
to cram in the 2
Yeah,
hours.
but if we can learn something and you can teach us something, please do.
Yeah. Another sort of example of that is the Lehman Russ tank.
So is that the Imperial?
That's a standard Imperial Guard tank.
That's it. The
The
Lehman
reason
Russ.
it's called Lehman Russ is because it was an STC blueprint discovered by the Space Wolves that named it after their Primarch.
Huh.
And that's why it's called the Lehman Russ.
There you go. So there you go. Because I am a big fan of the.
I mean, it looks silly. It looks like shit.
I go to lore videos only, but a lot of videos, and yeah, and I think you put me in touch with, not in touch with, but you put me on the track to Lutin and Adeptus Ridiculous.
Ridiculous, yeah. There's various others.
Praise be the gods of man.
Loads of people talking about the narratives and the tech, like one guy, Chapter Master Valrak, Major Kill, One Mind Syndicate. There's loads of lore videos. But they're great content. Please, I implore you to check them out if you want to look further into 40k.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah.
That's really cool. So we're going to carry on moving across these tech things. So there you go. I've learned something as well there. I'm going to skip past the Tau Hammerhead because we've done that one. Crisis Battlesuit. This one is there's two different kinds. There's the Cold Star and there is the XB88. I can't quite remember if they're two separate names or not. But
Is that the stealth battlesuit or is that?
no,
the
it's
Crisis
just
one?
the Crisis Battlesuit is just your standard go-to.
Yeah.
At least 1,000 hours they've done of lore videos.
Who's that?
Hydrogen.
Damn.
Ooh, that's a
pretty good.
lot.
Have you rinsed through the Luton catalogue doing that?
That's a Crisis Battlesuit. This is like your commanders and your like. I think they're like really quick moving. I'm not too sure. I just really like that I could change it up and get it moving and have it
You got
different.
some info there.
The one that used by Farsight was a prototype. Yes, it was. It's in that book. It was the first one of that type of Cold Star, maybe. But I think it then gets used after that. I think you are completely right, because I remember it being the AI that's inside it that's talking to him is like, I'm just a prototype, and then she like talks him through things. She's like,
Yeah.
I'd rather do it myself, but I now trust her more than anything. And it's just like, he's fucking badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They have these like massive like jetpacks on the back of them, which are like there. And that was actually one of the minis that drew me to the Tau because of like that Transformers Gundam-esque kind of like. Yeah, I love it, and yeah, so that's what they are there, and they're like they have like different deployments, and I magnetized this one to have different weapons under the arms, but they're in there somewhere in my box of Tau. Then cardiac failure. Yeah, and it's you can like change the loadouts to like flamethrowers and stuff like that. So again, I guess like dreadnought stuff, you can change the loadouts.
Yeah,
and, these things are like
That's cool, man.
they pack a punch. But that's those ones there that I'm aware of. That's the other kind
I
of
think that might be an image from the Damocles Crusade.
yeah.
When the Imperium went in to annihilate the Tau Empire, but then they had to reroute resources to fight a Tyranid invasion.
And the Tau were like, hey, we won!
Yeah.
The Guevas are retreated.
Cool, we'll just carry on.
Expanding then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool image. And you can see like the Fire Carder there and the Space Marine. Is that
I think
Raven Guard? No, I don't know. I don't
sure.
know. I don't know my 40k.
It could be.
Let's have a look at the next image. Again, all the towers just like drones, everything working off like AIs and comm links and stuff, just like flying in, just being like,
yeah,
you know,
it's cool, man.
It's very, very cool. I like the towel because they're only decent people. Thank you.
I love the Tau.
He hates them.
No,
he's
honestly.
he's a true human, racist, xenophobic, ruined. No, it's the great or good, isn't it?
Yeah.
The great
No, I
or
think
good.
they look cool as fuck. You know, there's a lot of people that didn't like or still don't like the Tau. I think they look great.
What I like is like even if they are brainwashed, and it's something we'll cover, I guess, in another episode, like when we spoke about the ethereals, and people are like, well, are they just being controlled by the ethereals? Are they just brainwashed? Are they like, you know, what is the Talvar and the greater good really? If like they've only just like they lose their shit when an ethereal gets killed.
Yeah.
But at least they're still trying to be semi-decent with it.
Yeah.
At least even if it is like brainwashed, that they're still like, we'll give you a chance to join and play the game before we put the boot down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. AI is superior. Boo Mechanicum simp. Yeah, he is. Let's have a look at what's next. Okay, you're up, buddy.
So this is an Eldari grav tank. I think they're called.
Hay Fever is kicking the shit out of me.
That's cool, man. So these obviously come in various different patterns as well, but this is Eldari grav tank, and they come in like prism cannons. Is the technology, which is a giant prism cannon that fires a huge beam of energy. And
I think it's prison.
Prison.
I was like, they just launch like inmates, like ah.
No. So these can be used as like a troop carrier, or they can be used as like a solely weapons platform. I did actually struggle to get an image of the grav tanks, but they do look fucking cool. Aesthetically, very pleasing.
So I think I remember this kind of aesthetic from when I was a teenager, maybe.
Yeah.
And like I remember like the Eldar and the Dark Eldar at the time had like all of this like pointed yet angled and these beautiful corners on everything.
Yeah.
And that's certainly one of the things I remember. I don't necessarily remember these vehicles themselves, but you learn magic because you like the art. I learn magic because I want to hurt the knife ears. We are not the same.
Are these quotes from?
I imagine so. Hydrogen, where are they from? Tell us where that quote's from. And now I'll force Alex to go read the book and then tell me about it.
No, I think if they're not quotes, then you've made them up. You're a poet, my friend.
Very good. I am not sure. So that's that. And that's them coming into.
Yeah.
That was only got like the grav bikes there.
Yeah. Eldar jet bike. I think that's their designation.
So are these like all about speed here then?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, lightning strikes, that kind of thing. Because the Eldar, they're sort of like they're on the brink of extinction. So I think they're sort of like the tactics they've adopted are sort of like your fast attack tactics.
Shoot and scoot.
Shoot and scoot, not quite guerrilla tactics, but like quick to attack, quick to withdraw, that sort of thing.
Yeah. They need to be as effective as
lightning
possible
strike,
and as quick as possible to basically not die.
Yeah.
Because there's a weapon that I love from the Eldar, and we'll get to that at time. So let's move on. Is this still one of the grav tanks?
Yep. So this is your basic grav tank miniature. What's that?
People say the tower weaves, but don't see Eldar doing the most weeb stuff in the universe. Yep. we covered that.
Yeah.
So this is just another grav tank.
Yes.
Look at that fawn paint job.
I know, that's
awesome.
cool. I think
So
that's
cool.
one of the earlier images of. You used to get those Games Workshop catalogues. I remember seeing this exact image.
Yeah, that's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming we're about to move on to the
Drukhari.
Dark Eldar, or the Drukhari.
So this is a weapons platform, a troop carrier, Dark Eldari Raider. So this is what would swoop into a human city, cause havoc. They would grab a bunch of slaves, chain them up to these platforms, and move on.
So is this essentially the same is a land raider, but then also not. I don't know. Is it like the equivalent to a land raider, but it's less attacky, more
No,
grabby?
it's very much a sort of lightning strike raider vehicle. So these Drukhari, they conduct raids on like lesser species, and they will use these weapons platforms, and they have like jet bikes as well and things like that.
Do you know what it looks like one of the skiff barges from Star Wars.
It does, yeah.
I really like that.
I do actually have one of these for a D&D campaign that I want to retrofit into a Jack's Prometheum.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Give me the story that I'm not supposed to know.
Aetherium, sorry, not Prometheum.
Oh, I love our Ethereum stuff.
Which I haven't touched in months, but I'm sure you
Why
will
not?
be happy.
No offense, we need to get back to a game.
Yeah.
Because I miss playing D&D.
Yeah, so this is like a fast attack vehicle, which will kidnap a bunch of people. Go in, bunch of killing, bunch of kidnapping, move on.
No worries, Hydrogen. Go get yourself
Some
food.
food. Alright, enjoy your meal.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
Oh,
is
look at that!
yeah.
That's so kind of like I would without the Dark Eldar on there, I would have said that was quite orcish, and that was
It
like
does, yeah.
quite.
Well, these Eldari, they're very much like a sort of piratey sort of people, you know.
Yes. Yeah, I can see that.
They kidnap people. They take slaves. They
Okay, I don't want to sound that enthusiastic about that.
Well, you know what they get up to, but you know.
Have you seen that meme where it's like he hands her the Watto minifigure, and he's like, "Hey, do you like that one?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's really cute." It's like, he deals with slaves. I got you.
Yes. He's a slave master. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so they're like piratey, and they kind of like come in on these skiffs and just like.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, look at that harpoon.
Yeah, it's great. Isn't it?
That's
That is an energy-based weapon. I can't remember what it's called, but it renders flesh. I think it's a void.
That's a term that we don't
void
use
cannon?
enough these days.
Yeah.
Renders flesh.
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, it's a very potent weapon.
That's awesome. So, and I guess they just kind of like, I mean, because that's a spear.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
like,
and they will harpoon humans. They will invade a city or go down to a planet's surface, and they will just scoop up fleeing troops and just have fun. You know, remember that
Slanesh.
their thing, like a plethora of feeling, excess, that kind of thing, to appease Slanesh, to keep Slanesh off their backs if they're being this debauched and debased.
That's all I want to go.
Slanesh is satiated, you know. So it's become their way of life. Their culture is to torture and just play with their food, basically.
I realised that I was completely off camera painting then.
I have been as well. But every time I look at the screen, I'm having to reshuffle.
And that's that. So I do prefer the Dark Eldar to the Eldar.
They are the
They
vampires
look goth
of
as
your.
fuck, and I love that.
Yeah, they are the dark elves of the 40k verse. They are your vampires.
Yeah, they're really awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered these. These are the Necron
Monoliths.
monoliths.
Yeah.
We've done this. Okay, so we said we'll get to this.
Yes. So this
What is this? Where does it come from? What's his name?
It is AdMech arc technology or arc weaponry, and this is the standard weaponry that the Adeptus Mechanicus use, or the Mechanicum.
Ah, so these are your tech boys that like.
Yeah.
They don't believe in evolving tech. They want to find the tech, but
Yeah.
like just keep it because they worship the machine god.
Yeah, knowledge is power, that kind of stuff. But they don't want to share that power. So yeah, this arc technology, it is energy-based weapon, but utilizes like batteries, like these super batteries of electricity and fire. Just like arcs of energy, sometimes like fused with like projectiles as well. So when these projectiles come into contact, they will trigger an electrical response, and it will just burst flesh apart.
Really?
Kind of thing. And this is in itself as well. Again,
Burst flesh apart.
it's a remnant of the golden age of technology, but you know that
They've found.
They've
now
found, yeah. And this is a standard weapon of the AdMech. I think there's a couple more. You think have things like arc maces or arc flails, which are just like these batons laced with this arc technology. So Yeah.
That's cool.
Just imagine the damage that can do. And you have these enormous weapons platforms that utilise the same principles. Yeah. If anybody is on Warhammer Plus, there's a load of really cool animations. Hammer and Bolter is the series, and one of these episodes is a tech priest wandering around with their it's like a companion, but it's kind of like an AI machine, not quite AI because
they're not allowed
they
AI.
frown upon that. And this is on top of this is mounted this huge like arc cannon that just like bursts these orcs apart. It's really cool. Check it out.
So what's that on?
That's on Warhammer Plus, which a lot of people aren't quite there yet. They don't really know about it, or they don't want to join it. But Warhammer Plus is pretty fucking cool. Just for the content and the lore you get.
So it's a channel where you can get more lore and stuff, basically.
Yeah.
And where's that available?
That is on the Games Workshop website.
Okay, so we're not sponsored by Games Workshop or anything like that. Gods, that would be great. But we're on episode 5 of a brand new series, and that's not going to happen for a long, long time. However, we will. If you're watching this on YouTube, I will get Alex to prompt me to remind me to put the link to Warhammer Plus in the descriptions below.
Yeah.
That you can follow and find more lore.
I think it's in the moment it's £5 a month, but you get like lore content. You get free minis every year.
Always come to us for the lore. Don't just go straight there.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's fine.
Painting tutorials, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's great.
That's very cool.
I love it. It's a relatively new service, only a year or two old, but yeah, I love it. I'm getting a lot out of it.
That's good. That's awesome. So we will make sure that goes into the descriptions below.
It's like my go-to Mong out. You know what I mean.
Wow. Okay. And I get that. Like when you need to switch off and you just have those moments where you're just like, nope, I want some me time.
Yeah.
No,
I'm always like surfing across Warhammer Plus.
That's cool. I haven't seen that, so I will check that one out. So that's a Mechanicum weapon.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the next one. So I'm assuming to look at them.
That's it. So that big...
That's obviously a Necron.
Yeah. That big construct on the top left is the companion of this tech priest in this animation. I can't remember what they're called. But yeah.
Big robots.
They're sort of like... They're kind of AI, but not. They're like... Oh shit, I've got some lemonade. Motherfucker. Sorry, you just reminded me.
I just realised my throat was getting quite tickly, so I was like, I'm going to have a drink. Do remind us in chat to have drinks and stuff and check our posture, because
yeah,
it's bad for us to just be hunched over all the time. So is this like your equivalent to a dreadnought?
I need to find out what they're called, which I'm not going to be able to do in time. But
Hydrogen, let us know!
Add mech walking construct.
Carry on trying to get... So, while Alex is looking that up, in terms of painting, obviously, like, again, I'm going around just trying to do line work right now, and I'm only on, like, the back end of it still, where I'm just trying to get those higher lines, those blue panels, just to kind of, like, show those off a little bit. And I don't really want to go too far. I'm just quite literally doing those top edges. And I don't want to do it in a dry brush because I don't want to get those streaks down there. And I know there's like 2 different techniques where you can do one with kitchen towel, which gives you a chalky effect, and another one with like A4 paper that will give you a more smooth effect. But I don't really get on with the A4 paper version, and I kind of want to do the towel justice with the line work, because I think you see a lot of line work with 40k painting.
Yeah.
Some absolutely stunning stuff out there, and so I'm probably never going to match, but at least I can say I tried.
Sorry, man, there's no way. You know when you look for something and you can't find it?
Well,
I'm sure somebody will say in the comments if they...
Yeah, I know that's absolutely...
I can't remember what they're called, but they're cool as fuck. They're like semi-AI. I think they're like these you know how the Mechanicus, on an individual basis, they're like heavily augmented.
Yes.
I think these things are like... they have like a remnant of sentience, but they're so heavily augmented, and they sort of like install their consciousness into machines. So it is an AI, but it's not. It's more.
Well, I suppose it's the same as the Dreadnought, when it's like, you know, they put
similar,
the Space Marine in there.
In terms of like, but it's like it's more, instead of like organs and things, it's like data and things like that. You know.
So it's like almost like it gives it an algorithm to follow
Yeah.
certain patterns and just act in certain ways. It's
That's
like
right. Yeah.
not an AI, but at least a programmed robot.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That's cool. I like that. So let's move on. So, and that's a tech priest, isn't it? There with the big servo arm, because
with all that arc weaponry.
Really like servo arms because I like to kit bash with them. They're fucking awesome.
Yeah. The current narrative of the AdMech, they're very much into. They're very keen on gathering Necron technology because they are aware. Oh, this is one faction of AdMech. This is Belsarius Call, this renegade.
Is that the guy who created the Black Carapace?
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
I feel like you'd shown me something and that name's come up. I could be wrong, and if somebody's in chat in the comments,
you could be correct actually. Yeah. This is a whole story in itself, but yeah. One of these Gene Smiths. I think this is giving away spoilers, but this
spoilers.
I think Belsarius Call is a result of two consciousnesses. Belsarius Call is like the dominant consciousness, but this other individual had a lot of knowledge about like dreamcraft and like controlled mutations, that kind of thing. So I believe you're on the right track there. Yeah.
I think I remember either Luton or yourself talking about like how he was like innovating, and he wasn't really allowed to, but they were also like, well, he made the Black Carapace, so like we're gonna turn away from this.
So this individual, this Belsarius Call, he's like a rogue, not a rogue, but like a renegade tech priest. He is very interested in Necron technology. He wants to acquire Necron technology because he wants their understanding of like physics and how to control like these calamitous warp storms, that kind of thing.
Well, I suppose as well, like
that's probably why they're facing off against the Necrons there, is because they want to infiltrate a facility of sorts.
Well, I guess as well, like if your whole religion, like we spoke about this in the last episode, and I think one before, where like the Mechanicus' whole thing is preserving the technology that they've already had, rediscovering but not inventing.
Yeah.
If the Necrons already had this technology 65 million years ago, you are only rediscovering something that's greater than what you've got.
Yeah.
So you are going to want to chase after
this is their way around it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think that's probably what that's all about, in my mind anyway. I mean, that leads us back to like that interpretation that you can have with 40k.
Yeah.
Like, just off that alone, that's what I would interpret that to be. Because that's certainly like the loophole, isn't it? Like, hey, we don't need to invent something. If they've got something better, we can just take it from them.
It allows you the space for that interpretation, but it also allows for the sort of like the writers or the developers to like flesh it out in certain areas and that kind of thing.
There we go. That's the line work going in at the top.
Oh yeah, cool, man.
So that's what I like about, especially like the Barrowhoff blue on top of the inks that I used to airbrush on the main blue of the tank. Is like it really pops those lines out. Which is why I kind of want to do line work on all of my Tau stuff. I really want that like Tron-esque panels to really kind of show up. So let's have a look at the next image. That's a tech priest.
So that's what we're talking about, the arc
baton.
The arc flail or mace, I think it is.
Wow.
Yeah, just imagine the damage that can do on contact.
So again, what would that do to a space marine, or what would that do to a regular human? What's the difference?
A space marine might take the chunk out of the armor, but space marine is pretty fucking tanky, so it could probably take the hit, but not too many hits. That would just tear a baseline human apart. If the baseline human was wearing basic armor, if this thing comes into contact with flesh, they're gone. Yeah, they are rendered.
Ripped asunder. And obviously tech priests that wield them are essentially baseline humans, but then they've augmented themselves.
Heavily augmented, yeah. The whole creed of the Mechanicus is they want to get away from the flesh because the flesh is weak. They want to be closer to their machine god, so they augment themselves heavily to get away from the flesh because they want to retain all this collected knowledge. They want to give themselves a longer life, and the only way they can do that is to rely on the machine, the concept of the machine.
Seems like the kind of people they want to get involved with are the Necrons, and go, hey, how have you managed to get all this eternal life and keep all of your knowledge?
Yeah. But yeah, that's their stuff. That's what they do.
So I'm just finishing that line, and I will move the Page to the next one. What do we have here?
So this.
What the fuck is that?
So this is.
What is that? Look at that arm.
Yeah. This is a servitor, or more specifically, this is a combat servitor, and what they are criminals, people who've been sentenced to this pitiful existence where they are lobotomized, and they are turned into these cybernetic machines that don't have any real autonomy in what they do, but their bodies, their flesh is utilized. Could be maintenance, could be weaponry.
What the fuck?
Yeah, man. This is a combat servitor.
So basically, like, fucking hell, right? So to wrap my head around that, humans get other humans that they don't like, and they go, right, he's a wrong 'un.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do
Servitor.
is basically make them a war slave.
Yeah, they have their uses. Waste not, want not. And this is largely the work of tech priests and things like that. So they will lobotomize a human, a criminal, said criminal, somebody who's been put down for life, or the punishment is to become a servitor, and they will lose their autonomy, their sentience. They're basically like
Programmed worker drones.
worker drones, yeah. And they might have a semblance of sentience, but they are not in control of their bodies anymore.
So what controls them?
So pre-programmed parameters.
So they'll give one task and that's it.
They're given commands. They're given instructions, tasks, things like that. They are very much your slaves of the Imperium, I guess.
And this is your kind of like, is it an honour to become one of these, or is this
No. This is a punishment. This is, you do not want this to happen to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Better to die than to become a servitor, because
Clamps.
yeah.
I fucking love Futurama.
Yeah.
It is one of my favourite shows, and Dan Track, Clamps is probably one of my favourite characters.
Yeah, he's
great.
great.
The Clamps, that's my name!
And yeah, like these can be
Just look like Clamps.
it does. These can be fused with various weaponry. There is a battle servitor that the Adeptus Mechanicus use, which I think is the next image. You're gonna like this one.
Whoa!
Yeah, so that is a battle servitor. Utilized
Apart from that half of a face, what's left?
bone. Maybe a bit of a brain.
So are they like consciously aware of what they've become and then trapped
really.
inside?
So there are some exceptions where they do have autonomy. By and large, they are no longer.
Well, I don't mean
in control of their
autonomy, but like, are they like? Is there sentience? Obviously, it's not allowed to come to the surface or anything. But
Yeah.
like, is it trapped there that it can view what's happening to them for the rest of their
I
life?
would like to imagine so.
Because that seems like the kind of punishment that would
Yeah,
be
I think
dealt out in the Imperium.
if not your flesh being used for something else, having a fraction of your sentience still there is even worse. So I like to think in the grim darkness of the far future that happens regularly.
I'm inclined to agree with you
What's
on that.
worse, having your flesh made into a maintenance slave, or having your flesh turned into a maintenance slave and being aware of it?
I'm going to go back to the flesh furniture. That's what I want to be.
Yeah.
I would much rather be somebody's face to sit on
Yeah.
as a horrible homunculus
Yeah.
than that. Like, I don't know that looks badass, but like, imagine just being like aware that like your own race.
Yeah.
At least with the Dark Elder, they took you, and you're like, okay, well, this is what they do. They're getting pleasure out of this. They're satiating Slanesh.
Yeah.
Your own race going servitor, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
That'd be awful. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Right. You ready for some Tyranids?
Go on. So that is one of
Look at the eye there.
that is one of many tyrannid organisms. This is what would be considered your tanks of the tyrannids. So this particular organism is called a Carnifex.
So I freaking love this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know that much about Tyranids. I just like how they look.
Yeah, they're
But
alien as fuck. these bio chimneys on top of their back that pump out fumes because they're terraforming the very atmosphere. I think that's a venom cannon.
That's the venom that can get through a Space Marine's armor, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
It like just melts it.
Yeah.
And like they just launch it like artillery.
Yeah.
So like because that's like it's not like it's holding that. That's part of its arm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And this is the sort of terrifying evolution of the Tyranids, because they can like adapt. They can soak in all this biomass and retain genetic information, as far down to like perhaps like memories and designs and things like that.
So they can then adapt
to that. Yeah.
New world, new structures and everything like that.
Yeah.
Need to know where the main box of humans is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we found one of the guys that knows. Eat him. Now we know.
Yeah.
Very Starship Troopers.
So this would be considered a tank of the Tyranid species.
So this is equivalent to a dreadnought. This is equivalent to like one of these.
a rhino or a gunship.
But it doesn't carry around troops.
No. It can spawn.
What is this on its back?
So I think the big chimneys, they're called. I think they're biochimneys, and they just pump out gases. Either it's sort of like the organism itself venting temperature, or it's terraforming the very atmosphere, because the Tyranids are trying to strip planets of biomass.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And they might have these mini organisms gestating out of the sort of like the skin of this organism, that kind of thing. Yeah, they're very, very alien looking.
Yeah.
In terms of the whole concept is alien, even to 40k, because they come from a different galaxy.
It expels gas, so it's ass.
Yeah. Nice.
Fluffy coming in with like that's basically its butthole.
Yeah.
It has 12 buttholes on its back.
Yeah. And this is like a tank of an organism. I think there are some illustrations. The next few images are.
Well, let's have a looky Lulu.
Oh, these are.
Fuck!
So these are Tyranid weaponry. This is like
look at that sword.
Bio weaponry is what they're referred to. Anything from like these
spore mine.
Yeah, spore mines that burst and melt flesh.
Tracking down the combo. You're not. You're really not.
No, not at all.
Episode 1, we said the words murder fucked a god into existence. You're fine.
So these spore mines, I think they're the first wave of the Tyranid invasion. They come down in their fucking millions and burst around a group of people, melting their flesh away.
It's like an acid bomb.
Yeah.
That's...
And they will spore different organisms which begin to mutate the very fauna of this planet, which will then turn against the inhabitants of this planet, because it becomes like a sort of predatory plant with like venom injectors and things like that. It's very fucked up.
Wow.
Very fucked up.
That's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next? You know we're actually running out of time.
Shit, what's that?
We've got 13 minutes until the end of the show.
I think we can probably get as much as we can in.
Obviously another Tyranid weapon here.
Yeah.
That's going to be their version of a pistol, maybe?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
What is it?
I don't know, it would be another sort of acid cannon. So is this the same image?
That's so cool.
I apologise if this is someone's mini that they've put on Instagram or somewhere on the website. Fucking awesome mini, by the way. I did go on the assumption that this was an official Warhammer website mini. If it's not, I do apologise, but that looks fucking sick, and you should be proud of yourselves.
Yeah. Look at that. Like, I love this kind of like I don't know if you've seen. You've seen my.
I mean, look at that. That's very Xenomorph, isn't it? Like.
Yeah, but like I love this
Geiger.
kind of technique where you go through the browns and the blacks all the way up to like bone colours. I'm a big fan of that. Like when I did that Draco Lich and stuff like that. That's kind of the way I did that. But that green with that pop on top and that red for the weaponry and the like spikes. That's so fucking cool.
That's very Geiger inspired.
Yeah,
that's what I love about it.
So what is this?
This is a Necron Warrior, and this
Necron Warrior.
Yeah. Not Necron Warrior. Sorry, Tyranid Warrior.
Okay.
And this is like a more tanked up. This is like your Space Marine of the Tyranids, like your jacked up trooper, and this is a means like a synapse. So this will help the hive mind communicate with lesser organisms.
This is a
So
commander.
this is like a commander, yeah. So this is like very potent in terms of the psychic tendrils of the hive mind, and this is like your.
That's very cool.
Link,
I like that
I
a
guess.
lot.
Yeah.
That's very
And
cool.
they can command like.
Big
different
fucking gun on them
organisms.
too.
Yeah, man.
I
That's
love
a
it. It
venom
looks like
cannon.
they're holding a trigger, but it's used to their arm.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how they
That's
are
great.
created.
So this is a Necron. Tyrannid gargoyle, and this is another organism.
That's your Land Raider.
Well, this is the organism that will. Millions of these organisms will jam a defense battery.
Oh, so these will fly into a big artillery piece and jam
fly
the gun
into the
up.
rifling, or fly into the mechanisms of these big defense batteries and just jam them. And
hell.
you know they will scoop.
Is that
up.
their one job then?
No, they have bioweaponry on them. They will pick up basically like a gargoyle would like just pick up an individual, tear it limb from limb, and then move on to the next, and they will just swarm all over the skies.
Wow.
And this is another example of the adaptation and evolution of Tyrannids, because there are different hive fleets specialised in like aerial combat and invasions, and like
Wow, really?
a particular invasion might be more utilising these organisms even more because these defense batteries are just humongous, so they utilise these specific organisms to like jam those.
So is that like on a planetary change then, or is that like? Because you said like different
So it's,
hive fleets like come in.
yeah,
It's just like
it's like that. It's like they adapt so quickly. So they may have, they may come down to the planet utilising particular organisms, and then within an hour,
they're churning out these.
whatever is obstructing them, they will start churning out these different organisms because they will adapt to the situation.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, very scary shit.
Yeah, that's cool. It's like the how do we kill it bug.
Yeah, and this is a
I love these.
what are they called?
This is what got me doing Tyranids when
Yeah.
I was a teenager.
Xanthrope. They're like your Tyrannid psychics.
Yeah, I tried to do them with like a lightning psychic
Yeah.
base and stuff, and they had the X in it that was like Xenomorph, and I
Yeah.
was like, these, and they look like little face huggers,
Yeah.
like chest busters.
I think that's killing a Space Marine librarian, possibly. The hive mind is a psychic entity. We don't know what it is, but it's so potent. But these Xanthropes can render the minds of the most powerful human psychers, because we just don't know the extent of the hive mind or what it is.
That's nuts.
But this is another vessel of this hive mind.
So this is like your
big
psychic
brain.
battery. They're very small, aren't they?
This is your hypnotoad of the Tyrannids, basically.
Yeah, and they just like zap people as they go around,
Yeah.
which is absolutely nuts. Right, this is the Eldari?
Yeah, so this is a wraith construct.
Oh, so this isn't an actual Eldar, this is
These, so you see this full of soul stones.
yes.
So this vehicle is piloted by Eldar souls, or an Eldar soul, an individual Eldar soul. You know, we talked about these soul stones are
Yes.
used so that Slaanesh doesn't feed on the souls of the Eldari. These soul stones capture those souls, and these souls can be repurposed into piloting machines.
So we're looking at dreadnoughts again here.
This is
The Eldar equivalent.
I think this is possibly like a more potent standard troop. I think,
okay.
I think these individuals, they're tank killers. I think they're called Dragon Lancers. I think. I'm not sure about that.
Well,
But yeah.
I like Dragonlance. Check it out every other Friday on Band of Badges.
Yeah, it's really
Twitch.tv/Band of Badges, also
Yeah.
YouTube.
Stunning.
Plug. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one.
Oh, that's another Necron Destroyer.
So we've covered those.
That's the Necron Wraith.
Oh,
So these.
that is the stuff of nightmares.
It is, yeah, and very much apt when it comes to the name, because they are able to phase out of our reality into these pocket dimensions. So they kind of they turn translucent, but they're actually phasing out of the reality, and they can move.
Almost on another plane of existence.
Yeah, but like super quick. So not only are they immune to projectiles or energy-based weaponry because they're not even on the same plane of existence anymore. They can move rapidly when they're in this separate dimension, and then they rematerialize and cause havoc. Very much like a wraith, you know.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot.
And these are the Necron units that I thought. When my friends asked me, what do you really like? I love the ones with the tails. And they were like, oh, Tyranids. This is what I had in mind. But they still look fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we're going to move to the next one. That's the race again.
Wraith, image. I'm not quite sure what these are called again, but this is another example of Necron technology. These blades, these like reality splitting blades.
Wow. So this is what you're on about with the knife that like when it cuts it like warps reality basically.
Yeah. I just think that the artwork is cool.
Yeah, very much so.
That's all I was showcasing.
Very, very much so. Because the other thing as well that I've noticed, whereas with like the humans and with the Tau, it's all about the technology, but actually with things like the Necrons and with the Tyranids, actually, when we talk about the technology, it's also them as well as the race.
Yeah.
With that, so there is again.
So that's the cover of the Necron Codex.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and all that like Gauss flares and.
Yeah.
Very, very.
What's this big claw?
I don't know if it has a name. I think it's just a claw. This is
Whoa!
This is the Tyranid Carnifex. This is the illustration that I had in mind, and yeah, they take on tanks. And see the
Land Raider or the troop carrier.
The Space Marine. I think that's a Rhino. The Space Marines using the potent bolt gun, and it's not even scratching the surface of this carapace.
Yeah, it's just bouncing off it.
Yeah, living armor.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that's cool as fucking. And yeah, these things are the stuff of nightmares.
All of that arm and tendrils is just designed to pierce through armor, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like they literally are weapons.
Yeah. Living tanks.
And like you see it there, like they're blasting their way through.
Yeah. And they'll just keep coming. So this is an example of, I think I was going for Terminator armor. This is a Grey Knight. We talked about this potent, in terms of psychic abilities, Space Marines. These like super elite Space Marines. This is another pattern of Space Marine armor called Terminator armor or Tactical Dreadnought armor. And this is another relic of the Dark Age of technology, or the Golden Age of technology, where it was used as a suit to be worn in hazardous environments, but being it the 41st millennium, they've turned them into like weapons, platforms, things like that.
Yeah.
But this is like your souped up version of Space Marine armor. Heavily armoured, a bit more cumbersome, not as manoeuvrable, but still very much manoeuvrable in terms of striding across a battlefield, navigating these sort of avenues, corridors of spacecraft, things like that.
You usually see those, don't we, with like the long claws and like
I think
literal,
I've got
like repeaters.
I think I've got a couple of other images. So this is the Grey Knight armor, and this is another example of Terminator armor.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's really. I love that like minigun
extra protection. They are walking tanks. They're sort of like a bridge between the Space Marine armor and the Dreadnought armor.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I'm thinking of.
Super.
So is that armor better
armor
than regular Space Marine armor in terms of defensive?
Yeah,
it's more thicker, or
it's thicker, it's bigger, but it's more manoeuvrable than the Dreadnought one. Tactical Dreadnought armor is what its other classification is.
TDA.
Yeah. So it's heavier, it's bigger, bulkier, but it's more protection.
And I suppose that helmet is there specifically for those more hazardous environments.
Yeah.
Like bigger respirators and stuff. Yeah, I think these are like, look at that chainsaw just mounted under the arms.
It's cool, and that's your Storm Bolter that is wielding. It's twin-barreled bolt guns.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Imperial Titans.
Right, so I think we're really getting to the big things now. We're actually almost out of time, so I guess we've missed out on a few races here, so I guess we're going to have a week off next week.
We'll have to come back and discuss some more stuff, whatever we've missed. There's so much. This is what I mean by glossing over. There is so much to get through.
So let's quickly talk about the Titan.
So the Titan, you know, I briefly spoke about the history of Mars, how they were able to fight off the Age of Strife and come out on top because they had all these, the means to this golden age technology over thousands of years have been like harnessed and utilized, and the people who knew how to maintain them became these tech priests, and this is how it became a religion. Well, these Titans are these super gigantic constructs which are piloted by people.
So you say piloted, somebody's at the controls.
Somebody's at the controls, and there are these individuals, they're called princeps, I think they're called. They are these individuals that have this almost like a symbiosis with these Titans. Like, they are neurologically connected. When they are using these machines, they are these machines.
So it's like a quite literally like they are jacked into it, and they are like.
Yeah. This is their new form. And you see in this image, they have like an entire cathedral on the top.
Yeah.
This is like the aesthetic of 40k. Because the Mechanicum is a religion, this is the example of the aesthetics. And these Titans, they will annihilate armies in the blink of an eye. So that is a super giant plasma cannon on that Titan. And these things are anywhere from 50 feet to thousands and thousands of, well, not thousands, but pretty fucking big, mountain-sized constructs.
Mountain-sized,
that can just, I'm going to keep using it because it's really good, render armies to pulp. And yeah.
So
I think there's some...
why not use that against the Tyranid invasion?
Oh, they do, but because this is a very sort of ancient technology, kind of like very very superstitious in the way they utilize technology, so they have to like ritualize these things into activation, things like that.
Oh wow.
And you know, there's not a lot going around. I think they have to like what's the word? You have to sort of apply
to get one.
To get one, like you have to kind of what's that thing we have to like petition? If like your planet is being invaded by orcs or tyrannids and you have an imperial force, knowing that there's Titans on the planet somewhere, you have to petition for this Titan to defend this certain city or this certain facility.
Just in case it gets lost.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So I think
because they're very sort of like high in demand, but there's not a lot to go around, but they are fucking potent.
Wow.
And yeah, there's more images.
Okay, so
finish
we'll
off
go through some of those then.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And there are different classifications.
Look at that!
You know?
I like that one.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And these are...
Titan rations.
Yeah. Psyker Titans. You have Chaos Titans.
Oh, so Chaos have them too, yeah?
Chaos have them too. Not only that, but some Titans are possessed. You know, they say they're piloted. Some are possessed by warp demons.
And that's Votan.
That's Votan. Yeah.
I tell you what, do you want to go for an extra 10 minutes and talk about the last three images, which is Votan?
Yeah, sure. So, Votan, I didn't actually do a lot of, because this is when I had to stop sending you messages.
We also haven't really covered orcs here either.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess we'll do orcs.
Orcs are very much like, I didn't want to mention them too much because it's very much like scrap technology, projectile-based technology, that kind of thing.
So all orcs are shit, and you hate them as a faction?
Yeah.
Cool.
Go fuck yourselves. No, they're great.
You heard it. No, you said it once. That's all it is. No, it's fine.
So this is the Hecaton Land Fortress. This is by the Space Dwarves, used by the Space Dwarves. It just kind of looks like a moon rover. Just
yeah, and that's because I mean I was looking at those to pick up for Starfinder.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I was going to, it looks like you know when you go out from the what is the N1 in Mass Effect?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Tam will kill us for not remembering.
Yeah, I know.
I can't remember.
When you jump out and you've got like the little buggy.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Is that, and I think they're really cool.
But I think because the Votan are descended from humanity, a lot of their technology is similar in which they would have these blueprints, these STC blueprints. So very similar technology like the particularly the energy-based weaponry or like the plasma-based weaponry,
Yeah.
projectile weaponry. They have power armor, or certain designs of power armor. Yeah, oh god, that's such a cool fucking mini.
Whoever painted that as well, like just the dirt in the wheels,
Yeah,
like
man.
that right there.
Because they're like a mining race, and traditionally dwarves are miners, and it fits the theme so well.
Yeah, I like. Again, that there as well.
Yeah, it's almost like you sort of Blade Runner-esque,
Yeah.
Japanese-inspired font.
I just love it.
Yeah, it's great.
It's like hence why I was like looking to pick up those for Starfinder and just be like, because you can have like vehicle chases and stuff. I was like, we need to like have like. Yeah. But I think they look awesome, and I think that. I hope that you do get these like clear cockpits with it.
I think you do, yeah.
Because I really like that a lot.
It's pretty awesome.
But it's cool, and like I think.
And their technology, particularly their warp, craft that can traverse the warp, they are slightly better than the Imperiums because they have access to these Votan machines, whatever they are. It's
Dantrack yellow.
Yeah.
Geez, that was like Gru from Despicable Me.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
That's so cool.
Yeah, because they have access to these data vaults. They have slightly better technology in some respects. Particularly the way they utilize warp engines, things like that.
It certainly
Yes.
seems it. Yoosh! Dantrack is happy with that one.
Oh yeah, Dantrack, yeah, we talked about the Imperial Fist. Yeah.
It does look like a souped up Wally.
It does.
I'd drive that too, Dantrack. Like, yeah, if I could go interplanetary exploring, I'd want something like that.
You should get some of those for Starfinder, man.
I should get some of those for Starfinder.
Yeah.
I definitely should. Definitely should.
Right.
But I guess I'm going to go back to the other camera then, and then I guess we will talk about what we've done. So, obviously we've looked at, like, and again, it's such a brief overview of everything that we've done. And I guess that, like, if there's more that you guys want to see, then, by all means, messages, put it in the chat, put it in the comments. Do what you need to do to let us know what you want to see. But this is like a brief overview of those weapons and those bits of tech that we find within certain races. Obviously, Alex didn't cover the orcs really because it's all scrapped together stuff from other factions, I guess. But yeah, it's been fun. In terms of painting, I've been painting up a vehicle, and I've been just trying to get the line work in on this Tau gunship, where section on top Warhammer memes explained. That's what Dantrack wants.
Warhammer memes?
Explained, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
So I guess we'll have to learn purely through memes.
Maybe that can be like a bonus episode where we spend an hour going through this.
I would be okay with that. Yeah, so I've been working on the line work, and that's kind of like the whole point of my Tau Force is to try and do that. And there is so much to do, and it's just going to be a case of trying to go through and through and keep going. But I've got like the doors all ready to go, and I've got some transfers, like some Tau Firecarder transfers and stuff like that I'm going to put onto those, and I'm probably going to glue them.
Transfers are fun.
Onto those doors open, because what I wanted to do was have like members of the Tau Firecarders like firing out of the doors and stuff, and like have like extra minis and stuff. And,
that's cool as fuck.
The turret one opens up there, so I'll probably have that one constantly open.
Yeah.
And then stick my little guy in there. Yeah, there he is.
I could have probably finished these Tyranids weeks ago.
Yeah, but we've been chatting away and it's been a lot of fun. And yeah, so that's what I've been painting. How's it going with yours? Because I know that you want to get some more colour pop. Tell us what you've been doing.
So again, I've just been carrying on with the wash.
Oh, it's so gnarly, man.
I don't know if you can see that, but some of them have maybe I've been a bit too heavy on the wash. Some of them have come out slightly darker, but that's fine. I'm going to play with that.
If.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, look at that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so these are more gene stealers, or these like slightly kit patched gene stealers with human skulls on them. But I just really like that tone that's coming out, that gory red.
I really like this bit here, which is like, those of you who can't see my mouse, like the kind of blue now that's coming through on the arms.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
that's why I want to kind of play around with blues and more whites and stuff, because it's kind of like that contrast.
It's also like bruising and like that like purple coming through of like gene stealers and stuff.
Yeah, like these mutating tissues.
Yeah, that's grim.
Yeah, no.
That's really fucking grim. I like that a lot. That's awesome.
Thanks,
But I
buddy.
guess that's really it for today's show.
Yeah.
We're gonna get this up to YouTube as quick as possible. So if you are watching on YouTube, then thank you so much. You know, do all the things that you do on YouTube, and you know, show Alex some love for bringing this lore to us, even if it isn't such a brief overview.
It's very, very brief, and yeah, we'll probably put some links into the description
And because it's worth
Other lore.
mentioning, your hair looks fantastic, and I'm very jealous.
Thank you very much.
And I need to get mine done now because I'm a jealous individual like that.
What was it you wanted me to remind you to put a link in the? Oh, fuck.
I think it was to Warhammer Plus.
That's right. Yeah.
So remind me when I put the video up. If I forget it, and you're in the comments, go look at Warhammer Plus.
Yeah.
Hopefully that link is in the description.
And then we'll put some links to.
Thank you,
more
Dan Track. It has been an amazing first 5 episodes. I've had a really good time.
wicked.
And I don't know, it's just
Yeah,
nice
me
to sit
too.
here and paint with you and to hear all the stuff.
We're we're just hanging out.
Yeah.
That's all. We don't expect to break records.
No.
It's our shitty little paint show. We just love talking about the lore. We love hanging out. We love painting, and that's all. That's all it is really. And we'll go from there.
And I think that couldn't have been said any better. It's, you know, thank you all for coming along for the ride so far. And like I said, we're going to take next week off from this show.
It's shit. No.
We're going to take next week off from this show, but we're going to be back hopefully the week after. We'll double check our schedules and stuff. In the meantime, I'll say we're going to do prep. We're not.
No.
But
But that's what I like about it. You know, if I don't do prep, it's fine. We can just enjoy it, wing
he's
it.
so arrogant that he knows everything about Warhammer.
Well, not quite. It's like a relaxed approach, isn't it? Because it's
It
a
is, and-
gloss over. It's very relaxed.
Yeah, and I think as long as you can get me certain pictures, I can put them in here. And
Yeah. Peace,
you know,
Stan Trek.
yeah, man, take it easy. It's, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. It
Yeah.
really, really does mean the world to us. And hopefully, you'll be seeing a lot more of us again soon. Not just on this show, but on others.
Yeah.
And
Cool, man.
yeah, until then,
Also,
guys.
10th edition comes out in a week or two.
Yes,
So we can
Hyperfleet
start looking
Leviathan's
into-
released, hasn't it?
Yeah, we can start looking into rules, and we can, once we've completed these minis, we can actually have a battle one episode.
So if my wife is watching and you know, thinks that the Father's Day gifts that I found the other day and you know they were from the kids isn't enough. Hyperfleet Leviathan, which is the new 10th edition starter set, I believe, which is Space Marines versus Tyranids. And I do need to paint some Imperial fists. I need to show people how I do yellow. Well, we're just a bit better get it because I'm going to run out of Tau soon. Guys, thank you so much.
Which camera are we looking at? That one.
Yeah, it's this one
Thank
here in the
you
middle.
very much.
This has been so rewarding just to sit here with a friend and chat and to have you
Likewise,
guys.
man.
Yeah, just to have people take part in the show and
Yeah, thanks for all the questions. Thanks for a couple of new viewers today as well. which is
yeah, and it really does mean the world to us. And until next time, thank you
very much.
very much.
Bye.